Microsoft Teams software, if you have been working in any of the projects in IT or any other industry and you are working remotely, you would have heard about Microsoft Teams already, or maybe you have already used it. So what exactly is Microsoft Teams if you haven't heard about it or you are new to it? So Microsoft Teams is a collaboration application, and it's not just for collaboration for chatting or for video calling. It's much more than that. So it's a complete package wherein you will be able to communicate, collaborate with your team, work effectively if you're working remotely, make calls, audio, video, share the files, work collaboratively on those files, and lots more than that. So there are a lot of features available in Microsoft Teams. Pretty comprehensive software, I would say. And the whole focus of this series will be to cover the key aspects of Microsoft Teams that even though you might be using Teams, you would have not got time to explore all the features. So I'll be going through the key features of Microsoft Teams that everyone should know if you are a beginner, and then I'll deep dive into the advanced features of Teams that will help you to be more efficient and effective in your projects, working across the team, and when you are using Teams in your projects. So let's quickly get started and see what exactly are the options for Teams and how you can get started with Teams. So I'm here on the Microsoft website, and if you go to the Teams tab here, you will get to the option, or basically you will see all the different options for Teams available. So if you scroll down here, some of the important aspect that you need to understand here is that Teams is available in different flavors, and if you are in the enterprise, you might see the interface bit different than if you're using it for the personal use. So I'll show you different interfaces as well if it is for personal use or for enterprise. So for example, you have Teams for home users or personal use, for business, for enterprise, and for education. So for universities, teachers, etc. So I'll be covering the Teams Enterprise, which will show you basically all the important features that will be more or less common across all other different flavors, and Enterprise version will be available. Basically the whole features or the important features that I'm going to show you will be available only if you have a business account and you sign up with the business account. If you have signed up with the personal account, I'll show you how the Teams will look like. So this is basically the Team web version. So when we say web version, you will be able to access Teams from the browser itself. This is the personal account, and you'll see that I do not see too many options here in the left hand navigation bar here. So I have the activity, chat, meet, and calendar. There is no Teams option, and it will have a limited features because this is the personal Teams account, right? And you'll see the URL is basically teams.live.com. So if you have signed up using your Gmail ID or any of the outlook.com ID and you are not a business customer, you will see the interface something like this. And this is good enough for your personal use. You can do the video calling, and you can do scheduling. You can do all other chat and sharing capabilities that should be available in the personal account. If you want the enterprise, or you want to have a look and feel of the enterprise Teams, so basically you have to sign up for the enterprise and you need to have the premium account for that. So basically if we go to the enterprise, right, and I'll sign up for the premium account, and that will help us to basically see the full-fledged features of Teams, and we'll be accessing Teams from the web as well as from the desktop app. So you have the web version. So if you do not want to install the desktop version, you can directly keep using Teams on your preferred browser. If you want to install the app, you have the flexibility to install the app on your machine. So we'll go ahead and install the app. App will provide you more features for you, and it will be more flexible to use, or basically it will provide you enhanced capabilities in the app. Let me go back to Teams, go to enterprise. So in order to sign up, basically you can sign up for free, right? And if you see the plans and pricing, you can absolutely use Teams for free. There is a free tier and that you can use, but you will have the limited functionality as compared to the paid version, right? So if we simply go ahead and click on sign up for free, we have to provide the email ID and the password, right? So whatever business email ID or the enterprise email ID that you have signed up for Microsoft account, we have to use it here. So let me quickly get it. So I provided the email, go next. I'll go ahead and sign in, and then here you will have option to download the Windows app or use the web app instead, right? So I'll click on the web app and it will ask for the password. I'll say yes, and now you will see that this is the URL. Let it sign in, and I'll show you the difference between the personal account and the business account. So you are signed in now, right? And you will see now the difference is basically teams.microsoft.com. So basically, if it is your business account, you have signed up for the business account, you will see that the URL of the web version will be different, right? So the paid version is different and free version is different. The personal version will be teams. This one, which is basically teams.live.com, and both are the web version, but it will have a limited functionality if you are using the free version of the team. Now, because we are learning team for the enterprise account and for the business, so business will have the enterprise account and they'll be sharing the teams when they share the desktop or the laptop with you. You will be having the teams and you will be having the similar features that I'll be covering in this particular tutorial, right? So this is the web version of it, okay? And briefly, if we go ahead and see some of the key features, you'll see this is header here, and in the right hand side, if you click on 3 ellipses here, you will see the settings and different options. We can go ahead and download the desktop app and the mobile app. So you can go ahead and install mobile app on your mobile and use Teams on the go. Similarly, the desktop app will be provide you more functionality and feature, and will be really easy and handy to use as compared to the web version. This is your profile setting. So if you click on the right hand side on this little icon here, you can see the different options here. You can manage your account and sign out. And in the left hand side, this is the navigation bar for the activity, chat, the teams, calendar, etc. And if you click on these 3 ellipses, you will see different other options that are available, calls and file, and you can get to see more apps that are available there. Okay, so this is briefly about the web version. We can download the desktop version, and mostly as part of this tutorial, we'll be working on the desktop app. So we'll go ahead and download the desktop app from here, or you can click on this little download icon in the left hand side, right? And it will start downloading the Teams Windows desktop app, right? So once it's downloaded, we will go ahead and install the desktop app and log into the desktop app, and we'll start learning Teams and all of the key features about Teams in the upcoming tutorials. Basically, we have downloaded the Teams app. Let's go to the download and open the download. So it will start the installation process. Let me minimize this. So I'll use my premium account here, right? So I'll use another account so we get the full-fledged features of it. Let me grab the email ID. So once you provide your email ID, click next. We'll enter the password. So you'll get this prompt, stay signed in to all your apps. So we'll just simply say yes. Okay. And then we are good to go with the Microsoft Teams, right? So we are all set. Click on done. So most probably all of these steps that I'm covering, it is only if you are going ahead with installing and learning. But if you are part of the team, you will by default be having access to Teams and your account will be created. And this is the interface that you will look into once you will log in, right? So this is the left navigation bar, right? So wherein we have the activity. So any sort of activity that will happen, for example, chat or at mention, anything like that will be basically available here in the feed. In the chat section, you will have all of the chats, depending on whether you're having group chat or one-to-one chat. All of these chats will be available here in the chat section. In the team section, you will have all the teams that are available, right? So all the teams that are available will be in the team section. In the calendar, you will get all the calendar details, what meetings have been there, and how your day looks like in terms of calendar, or basically how busy you are. In the call section, you will get all the calls that you have got, basically the phone or any of the video calls will be basically available in the call section. And in the contacts, you will have all the contacts that you will be having there. Okay. In the file section, you will be having the access to any of the files. So for example, any files that had been shared with you, or you are working in collaboration with the file, you will get all the file details or the files that are available here. You will also have access to the cloud storage, the OneDrive here. And if you go to the 3 ellipses here, you will get more apps that you can find. So basically you can go ahead and have the different apps, for example, the shifts, stream, approvals, etc. So we'll cover all of this in much more detail in one by one tutorial, right? But this is briefly what the left navigation bar will look like. If you go to the apps, it will open the app store wherein you will get all the apps that are available, right? So it's kind of the Microsoft App Store, and you can get the apps and install the apps based on the requirement for your project. Okay, we'll cover more details on the apps as well. In the help section, you will get the help, right? And if you go back at the top, you will see you have the search bar here. Okay, and the right hand side you have these 3 ellipses, which is more of customizing or changing the settings, right? So you'll get the settings, then you can zoom in and zoom out, right? So at the moment you will see that it's basically zoomed at 120%. Okay, let me minimize this, and then you can basically cast it as well. So if you are having the Chromecast or something, you can cast it on the different devices, for example big screen or television. And then for your personal settings, so basically this is your account settings, you can go ahead and manage your account and then sign out if you want to sign out of the team. Okay, so this is briefly what exactly the high level navigation about the team is, and this is the desktop app that we have installed, right? So you'll see that here, if we go to the team, you'll see that we have this one team and then general channel available there. So we'll understand all about it, but the purpose of this tutorial was to install this app and walk you through the navigation or basically the high level of the teams. One more thing within the team is that you will get, once you go to the teams, right? So all the teams that you are part of basically will be available here, and you can go to the posts, and if there are any files that are available or shared, you will be getting those into the file section of the teams, right? So that's briefly about the Teams desktop app. Microsoft Teams, as the name suggests, it's meant for the group of people who are working together to deliver something, and they are teams, right? So physically they are teams, and Microsoft Teams is kind of similar when we say teams. So it's a group of people that are working towards a common goal to deliver something, right? So those group of people, say for example, they are building an application or a mobile app for e-commerce, and there are 15-20 people working together, and they say for example their team name is sprinters. Okay, so now in the Teams, in Microsoft Teams, if you go to the teams, you will see that there is a team, the default team which has been created, which is RCV Academy, and then this is the channel below that team. So every team that is there will have this channel. General channel will be there, because general channel, everyone will be having access who is part of that particular team, and will get a notification if something is being shared into that particular channel. Everyone will be notified for that. Now here, so for example, we have a team named RCV Academy, and general channel by default every team will be having. If we go to the team here, then you will see that in the 3 ellipses here, if you click on manage team, you will be able to see all the details about the teams, right? So what all members are there in the team. So for example, here I am the owner, okay, and then how many members and guests are there, you will see the numbers here. Then how many channels are there in this particular team, you will see all the channels. So at the moment only one channel, which is general channel, is there, right? And you'll see the type and activity, etc. So you'll see all of the standard. It is a type standard. Okay, then there was one more channel that I created, which I deleted, right? So that's why you'll see that it has been deleted here. But by default, if you are installing team or accessing it for the first time, it will be 0 shown here as well. Now, what exactly is the channel if we talk about this e-commerce app? Say, for example, the team will consist of developers, testers, business analysts, and product owners. So there will be a group of people with different roles. Now, channel is the group of people. Say, for example, if there is the information only meant for developers and you do not want to bombard anyone else in the group or the whole group, you create a channel, separate channel, so that only members with that particular role have access to that particular channel. So to create a channel, click on this 3 ellipses and click on add channel, right? And here I will simply say testing team. Say for example, we are creating a channel testing team. We'll describe this team, a little description there, and then privacy, you can choose standard, everyone on the team has access, or private or shared, right? So we'll simply choose everyone has access, and then if you choose automatically show this channel in everyone's channel list, then it will be available in everyone's channel list if anyone wants to follow the conversation, right? So we'll simply click on add, and then you will see adding the channel will appear, and the testing team channel appears here. Okay, now only the people who are having that relevant role can be added into this channel, and when some conversation will happen in this particular channel, only the people who are part of this channel will be notified and not everyone, because in general everyone will be available, whosoever is working on this particular project, and if you post something in the general, it will be everyone will be notified, right? Now we haven't added any new user there. Okay, so in order to add a new user or new member in the team, simply go to the ellipses here and click on add member. Okay, and here we'll start typing in the member email. Say for example, I'll add a guest there. Okay, and click on add, and the guest will get added. Okay, now if we simply say something else, say for example RCV Academy, let me add one more, and we'll add it as a guest. So we have 2 users being added there. Okay, and then simply click on close. So we have added 2 guests there, and then if we go to the general, right, and go to manage channel, here in the teams and manage teams, you will see members and guests. RCV tutorials is there. The other one, we had this pop-up that it might take a little time to appear in this list. That's why the other member hasn't been displayed yet. Okay, but you will see that the members will get added as you add the members here. Okay, so you can simply click on add member from here as well, and those members will be basically added. Now the member that you'll add here will get notified over the email to join this particular team, right? So I'll go ahead and join by signing up or going to the email, and then that member will appear here as well. So now here in the channels of this particular team, you'll see there are 2 channels that are available. This is the channel that we just created, testing team, right? And the type is available as well. Then in the settings of the team, you'll see different settings of the teams here. For example, you can change the team's picture. So we can simply click on change picture, and we can upload a picture to change it here. Okay. And then in the member permission, you will see different permissions that are available here. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit, and you will see that different permissions are here. So basically allowing members to create or update channel, then to create the private channel, to delete or restore channel, etc. So these are more of a administrative settings that if you want to customize, you can go through and customize these settings. Then you have these guest permissions. So basically what exactly the guest will be allowed to create or update channel, allow guest to delete channel, right? So which hopefully you won't be allowing, because a guest shouldn't be allowed to basically delete or update channels. But in case you want them to, you simply check these boxes. Then at mentions is very good feature within Teams, which I'll discuss more. So at mention is basically if you want to specifically highlight the message for someone in the activity, then you can at mention, for example, at, and provide the name of that particular person, and that person will be notified or with the highlighted message. Okay, so at mention, if you here you can choose the setting who can use at team or at channel. So you can at mention the whole team or the whole channel. So if you want to have a message, say for example, to send at testing team, right? So you can create a at mention, and the whole team will be notified with a highlighted message that this is important message for the whole team. Then there is another team code thing, which is basically if you want to allow the team members to join with the team code, you can generate this team code and share this team code so that team can basically use this code to join this particular team that is available here. And then please note, guest won't be able to join with the team code. Then you have some fun stuff which is very good about, like emojis, memes, GIFs and stickers, different settings around that. And finally the tags, right? So choose who can manage tags. You can enable or disable that. So this is high level what the settings are, and you can go basically read each of the settings and change it accordingly as per the need of your teams. Then in the app section of the team, you will see different apps that are available, and then you can go to more apps to install more apps, okay, from the marketplace. All right. And then if you go to the drop down here, you will see the settings, the analytics, and the tags, right? So these are some of the high level sort of settings for the team level. If we go to the ellipses here, you have the option to hide, you have the option to add more channels, add members, or manage the team, right, which we have just looked at. You can go ahead and leave the team, right? So say for example, you don't want to be part of the team, you have moved to other project, you go ahead and click on leave the team, and you will be able to leave the team. If you have permission to edit the team, click on edit the team, and it will allow you to edit the name, description, and the privacy of the team as well. Then in order to get link to the team, you click on get link, and then you can also manage the tags or delete the team if you have permission to delete the team, right? So this is briefly what exactly the team is, different high level combination or high level settings of the team, even the advanced settings basically around the different permissions and guest permissions, and then how you can create the channel, update the channel, right? And what all different level of details available in the channel, right? So for example, if you go to the channel settings here, you will see that you have the channel notifications, which you can see that you can off it or you can customize it. You can pin the channel, you can hide the channel. So for example, you want to pin this particular channel. If I pin it, you will see that this channel appears at the top as a pin channel. If it is something which you are part of that particular channel, go ahead and pin it. It will always appear at the top, right? Then you can manage channel if you own it, right? So we can simply click on manage channel, and you will see different channel settings are here, and then the analytics of the channel will be available here. Okay, then if we go back, right, you will see that we have this get link to channel, edit channel, and then different connectors and deleting this channel. If you want to delete the channel, simply click on delete the channel as well. Okay, so these are some of the high level details about the teams within Microsoft Teams. What is the relevance of teams and the channels, and why you need to create a different channel basically, and different settings available for teams and channels within Microsoft Teams. So in order to create a new team, simply you have to go to the teams section here. Okay, click on the teams icon, and you will see that this was the default team that was available. Now in order to create a team or join a team, you can either join a team by the code or by the invitation, or you can create a team, right? So you have this option here in the left hand side. So if I click on that, you will see that we have the option to create a team or join the team with a code, right? So what this code is, if we go to the existing team, say for example, as I have shown this, if you go to the manage team, and there is a option to generate the code, right? The team code. So here we can generate the team code. Say for example, I generate it, and then if we share this particular team code, then people will be able to join with this particular team code. And you have to remember that guest won't be able to join with the team code. Okay, so we can simply go ahead and join with this particular team code if you want to join. But in order to create a new team, we have a different option. So let me remove this. Okay, and now let's go ahead and create a team. So simply to create a team, we'll click on create team, and then you will see different options to create a team. We can create a team from scratch, from a group or team, right? So create a team from a Microsoft 365 group that you own. You can create a team from there, or you can simply coordinate your project, manage a project, or manage your event, right? So different options. So onboarding employees, organizing the help desk, or incident response. Different templates are available for different options. For example, healthcare, manufacturing, volunteers, etc. So you can pick any of these templates to create a specific team, or we can go ahead and create from the scratch. But if you see that most common will be managing a project, right? So we can simply click on manage project, and it will create a team from there. But if you go ahead and click on the scratch, you will see that we have the option for private, public, and org wide. Okay, so if we say private, then people will need permission to join it. Okay, if you have public, then anyone in your organization can join that particular team. But if it is organization wide, everyone in your organization automatically joins, right? So let's make it public, and then we'll simply say sprinters. Say for example, this is the team that is developing the e-commerce app. The name of that team is sprinters. We'll simply name that as sprinters, and team developing e-commerce app, and then simply click on create. And now the sprinters team will get created. And once the team has been created, you will see that you can add the members, right? So say for example, there are different members in your organization that are working as part of this e-commerce app. You can start typing in the name of those persons or group. And then you can add those persons. So at the moment, I have just one person here that I have added. I can simply start typing in. And if there are multiple users, you simply start typing in the users and keep selecting those that you want to add to this particular team, right? So we have added these users, click on add, and these users will be added into the team that we have created with the name of sprinters. Okay. Now we simply click on close here. Okay. And then you will see that the sprinters team has been created, and general channel will by default be there, which is more of having or for communication with everyone. If there is a chat that is happening or there's an announcement that need to be made to everyone, then you put that chat into the general. But this is how you are going to create the team in Microsoft Teams. Now within this team, there is a general channel already. If I want to create different channels, I'll simply click on the ellipses here at the team level and then click on add channel. So let's quickly go ahead and create a development channel. Okay, you can give any name, right? So I'm just giving channel, but you can say development squad or something. Okay, whatever you wish, which makes more sense. And then select the privacy accordingly as per your need, and then as per your need automatically show this channel to everyone's channel list. You simply choose it, click on add, and that channel will be added here. Okay, let's add one more channel, which I'll say BAs, and then I'll add. Okay, so now you'll see that this particular sprinters team has different channels available here: general, BAs, development, testing squad, right? So these channels, if you go ahead and say, for example, we go to this channel, right, and then go to manage channel, you will see different option that we have already seen previously, right, for a specific channel. Now if you go to the team level here, okay, and click on manage team, you will see the members and guests that are available in this particular team, right? So this is the owner who has created this particular team and the guests that are part of this particular team, right? So that is all listed here. If you want to add more members, you can simply click on this add member and add new members or more members in this particular team. Okay, now the next thing I want to show here is that if we go to these channels, right, if we simply go to this icon, little icon here, you will see that 2 guests, right? And then similarly for development squad, you will get the people who have access, right, 2 guests, and for the testing squad as well. Now this is because when we created these channels, right, so if we go ahead and click on add channel, you will see, say for example here, I'll say product owners, okay, and then everyone on team has access. So whosoever in the team will be having or member of this team will be by default added to this particular channel, and the purpose of the channel is to limit the conversation within that particular specific role member, right? So that's basically how you will be using it. So if we go ahead and choose this privacy to specific teammates have access, okay, or people you choose from your org or other orgs to have access, okay, so simply choose that accordingly. And then if you don't want to share this channel with everyone on the team, you simply uncheck that, okay. And in that case, say for example, let me make it private, specific teammates have access, and create this particular channel. So this channel, everyone in the team won't be having the access. So here we have to add the members to this channel. Say for example, I just want to add a particular only one guest here, okay, and then simply click on done. So as of now, only one person is there, right? So you'll see this private icon here, and then if you see here, only one guest is there in this particular case. So if we start this conversation, right, then only the members that are part of this particular group, okay, will be basically having access to this particular channel, okay. But here in this case, because we have made this for everyone. So all of the guests that are part of this particular team or all the members that are part of this printers will be having access to this particular channel. Now the next thing in the channel is that you can customize. So for example, if you go to this particular channel, right, so we have these different tabs. For example, all the posts will be available here in the post section, right, and then all the files that are being shared, say for example in this particular channel, right, as the POs, there are some files that are being shared in this particular channel will be available here. And then if you go to this plus sign here, you can add more tabs as well based on, say for example, you want to have more apps, right? For example, you want to have the wiki or whiteboard available, right, or Excel needs to be there. So simply click on that particular app there, and then it will configure, and then you will see that you have the option post to the channel about this particular tab, that this tab has been added. We'll simply save it, and then this whiteboard tab will be created for that particular channel, and you will see that now the whiteboard has been configured. Okay, and we can simply go ahead and start creating, say for example, some of the notes. Okay, right, and then write something on the note, right, and then this will be basically, so everyone in this particular whiteboard or who is part of this PO will be having visibility of this particular app that is here, right? So similar to post, will have the access to the whiteboard, and in the post you will see that because we have selected that everyone needs to be notified, so it will notify that I have added a tab at the top of the channel, which is the whiteboard, and that is available here. Similarly, if you want to play around and add more tabs here as per the requirement, you can add there as well. And this is very good one. Basically, say for example, team wants to work together on the whiteboard, you can simply add that app and it will be available for the whole team there, right? So you can see that it's available there. And now if, say for example, I am part of this particular, I have invited one more member as part of this particular board, right? So I'll go on the mobile app, okay, wherein I have the access, and I'll try to do some of the changes there. Okay, so let me go ahead and go to the whiteboard. Okay, so the access to the whiteboard is restricted for guests, so that's why I can't do anything from this account that is in the guest. But in the next tutorial, I'll try to add some new user, the extra users in this particular instance, so we can see how the people will work collaboratively and different apps will explore, and we'll explore a lot more apps and productivity tips as part of this whole tutorial series, and what all you can do within the teams, right? So this is basically all about these details here, and how to add the teams, how to add different channels, customize the channel, add different new apps in the channel, and work together as a team collaboration. So in order to start chat, nothing fancy, you have this chat feature here, right? So the chat icon, click on the chat icon, and then you can start this chat, basically chatting with anyone within your organization simply by clicking on this new chat or press Ctrl N. Okay, so if I press Ctrl N, it will open the new chat here. Now you have to select the name or email or group or tag basically of the people that you want to chat with, right? So say for example, I want to chat with multiple people at the time, right? So if I just want to chat with single person, I'll simply type in, say for example, their username, right, or email. So I have started typing in, and then just select that particular person, right, and I'll say, start typing in the message there, right? So as soon as I'll choose that, I'll simply say, go ahead and type something, right? So you'll see that the message has gone through, right? So basically we simply go ahead and type simple message. So this is how you are going to chat with any person individually, right? Now there are many other settings basically that you can go ahead and do. So what all different features are available in the chat? So this is individual chat with a particular person. So if you just hover over, you will see that the details of that particular person, whether they are available, when they are seen, right? So you can see that you have different options here. You can start a video call or you can start an audio call, right? And then they have the feature of the LinkedIn profile as well to find the people with that particular name, right? Or you can send a quick message from here itself, and you'll get the contact information below this here, below this section here, okay, when you can copy the email and other details if they are displayed. right? Now, if you go here in below, you'll see the files, activity, and LinkedIn. So if, say, for example, any files are being shared with that particular person, if you go to files, you will see those files appearing here, which are being shared with that particular person that you are chatting with. Okay, if I go ahead with two more, you'll see the activity, right? And then we'll see the LinkedIn. All right, so it will basically get the LinkedIn results if you want, right? But you need to connect your account, right? So that's absolutely fine. If you want to go ahead and see, you can connect your account and you can see the specific profile there, right? But in activity, you will see different activity about the particular person. All right. If you want to add more tab, click on the plus sign here and you can search different apps that are available and you can add those into the tabs here. Okay. So that's basically, say for example, I want to have the Excel tab as well. So I clicked on Excel and then pick an item, right? So say for example, Teams chat file. Okay. So there is nothing at the moment. All right, so there are no files at the moment, but let's see if I can get some other app as well. So let's say, for example, whiteboard. Okay, so I want to add the whiteboard as well here. So I'll simply select the whiteboard app and then we'll see, say for example, name this whiteboard. I'll save it and then you can see the whiteboard appeared here, right? And this demo whiteboard is basically available for both of us to work together, right? Whomsoever we are basically going ahead and chatting, right? So here you can see different links, videos, etc. that can be worked upon. So for example, notes, we can collaborate on different notes, right? So I can, pick a particular note and then type in something here and the other person can do the same thing, right? So basically it's more of a collaboration between two people here. Right now, this is chat feature if you just want to do one-to-one chat. Now, say for example, you want to do group chat, right? So the option is absolutely similar. We'll simply click on this little icon, right? And I want to create a group. All right. So for example, testers and developers group, or just testers want to talk or developers just want to talk. So we simply add only the members that we want to chat with. Okay. So I'll simply go ahead and add one member there. And say for example, hypothetically, there are two members. And then in the right hand side, you will see this little drop here, right? So icon, click on that and then you can name this group. Okay. So I can say this is testing or this is something related to regression testing. Okay. So something related to regression testing, or if you're in some other domain, HR or finance, anything related or any common discussion that you want to have, you can name the group accordingly, right? And as soon as you will name and click in the message or hit enter, you'll see that regression testing group has been created and it is showing two members basically there, displayed. Right now, if I just start typing in, right, this is where I can start typing in the messages and then send the message. Now this message will be available to everyone who is part of the group. You'll see that I have added these two guests here to the chat and then change the group name to regression testing. All of that will be appearing here. In terms of the layout, it will be exactly similar as we have seen for the single person. And then you can add different apps and different tabs here as well by clicking on the plus sign, right? As and when required and based on the need. Then in the right hand side, you have this video call option, okay, and the audio call option. You have the option to screen share as well, which I'll cover when we make the real video call with one of the person. And then you will see in the right hand side, you have this view and add participants, right? So for example, you want to see how many participants are there in this particular group. Click on this and you will see all the participant list. You can go ahead and leave the group. You can add more people to the group if required, okay? And then if you want to pop out this particular chat, click on this and it will pop out this whole chat into a new window, and it will be a completely different window that pops out, which is having absolute similar functionality that you see here. Okay. Now let's quickly go through and see some of the details or basically some of the features that are available here. Okay. So here if you see, for message, the formatting or the options that are available, there are a lot of formatting options that are available within Teams to format your messages accordingly. So if, say, for example, I click on this format, it will give me this whole window appears here, right? The format window, right? If you click on this plus this A icon, right? It will show all of these messages. So this is similar to what you see in the Word and any other Microsoft tools. Basically, this is for bold, italic, and underline, and this is for the strike through. Okay, say for example, I will type, this is demo message. Okay, so let's make this bold, right? So it has made it bold. Let's make this italic. You underline this, right? And you strike through this. Okay, so these are some of the formatting options, right? So now I'll change it. Now what is this? This is highlighter, right? So if, say for example, I highlight with any of the color, I can choose as a highlighter there, and this is highlighter. Okay, so you'll see this message has been highlighted. Now what is the next thing? I'll choose no highlight and then move next. What is this? This is about the font color. Okay, so you can choose different font colors. So for example, I want to type in red. This is different font color, right? So you'll see the message has been typed into different font color. The next thing is the font size, right? You can have different font size as well. Say for example, I want to have this as a large, right? So I'll simply highlight that and click on large, and you'll see that this has been changed to the large size. Okay, similarly, if you move next, you will see that there is an option for heading 1, Monish space, all of that is available here. So for example, I want to type in the heading and make it as, so let me change the font size to medium. Okay, and then change it to heading 2, right? So you'll see that this is now converted to heading 2, and then here if you see, this is more of clear all the formatting. Okay, so if you choose anything and clear all the formatting will get removed. This option here is for decreasing the indent. Say for example, let me move here and increase the indent. You'll see that it has been indented, right? If I want to decrease the indent, simply use this icon or click on this icon, right? Let's increase the indent, and then let's have the bullets as well, right? So say for example, I want to have some text there, another text, and another text. Okay, and I want to format it or make it bullet point, right? Simply select all of that and click on this bulleted, right? So this is unordered. If you want to have ordered bullet list, click on the numbered list. Okay, it will change it to 1 to 3 numbered list. Okay, then you have the option for the quote, right? So I can say this is quote, right? So simply highlight that and then quote it. Okay, so it will quote that particular text there. And if you want to insert any of the link in the message itself, all right, now this is whole formatting that I'm doing with this message, but I haven't sent it yet. Okay, so this is the formatting option that we are discussing. Now within this, I say for example want to insert a particular link, right? So I'll simply say insert, or just say this is link. Okay, and then I'll simply highlight. Say for example, I want to insert a link for this particular link text. So click on that and click on link, right? So it will highlight or will display the text that you have highlighted, and then you have to enter the address, right? So say for example, I want to enter https training.rcvacademy.com, right? And then insert, right? So you'll see now this is a link that is available. Okay, and the link will be sent when you send this particular message, right? Now this is another option for code snippet, which I'll discuss later, which is mostly for the development team to send any of the code format, right? So say for example, you're working in a development team, then you want to send a code in Java or Python or JSON file, you can format using the code snippet. Okay, now this is for the divider or inserting the horizontal line. So I can insert a horizontal line, right? And then after that I can type in the more details there. Okay, so that's for the horizontal line. Then this is for the table, and this is for inserting a column or row within the table, right? So I can also add different table, right? So different layout. So say for example 3 by 3 table, right? So you'll see the table has been inserted there. Okay, so I can say just 2 columns there. And then if I click on these 3 ellipses, you can see that you have this undo typing, repeat typing, and all of those options. If you want to discard this whole message that we have done all of this formatting, you can simply click on discard or delete here. Okay, but we don't want to delete. We have done all of the, we have understood all of the formatting options in Microsoft Teams. Now let's go ahead and send this. Okay, so now I'll send this in the group, and you will see this is how the message appears. Okay, so let me maximize it. You will see that this is what I have basically sent in this regression testing group, wherein we all are members, right? So I have added 2 members and we are having some conversation, and this is how the formatted text will appear. Okay, now basically all of these features, if you are well aware and understand how you are going to use, then you can format your messages in very well form, and that will be really helpful and differentiating in terms of the usage or how you are basically communicating and coordinating with the 2 teams when working remotely. Now with the message that you have sent, if you just hover over, you will see that there are different icons available, right? So these are different emojis that you can basically go ahead and say thumbs up or heart or different emojis to work in a collaborative manner. That yes, absolutely fine. So I'll give a thumbs up for this, right? And then if you click on these ellipses here, you will see that you have option to reply just to this message. Okay, so say for example, I have sent this message, somebody else wants to reply, they can click on this ellipsis, click on reply. Edit, if I want to edit something in this message, I click on edit, and then it will open the same window and I can edit and do the changes, right? So I don't have to basically resend or delete, and then I can edit the message as well, right? So once I'm done editing, I can click on this sign here, and you will see the edited message has been shown, and you will see the edited appears. Okay, if you edit a particular message. Now the next option is about deleting. Then you can pin this message as well. Okay, so I can say okay, pin this message, and then this message will be basically pinned here at the top. Okay, so whichever message has been pinned, it will appear at the top. So you can basically, if there are important messages, you can see that yes, these are the important messages that are available at the top. Okay, the next option is around saving this message, or you can unpin, right? You can mark it as unread, share to Outlook. Okay, you can share the same message to the Outlook email, and you can have the translate and immersive reader. Okay, so immersive reader will basically load this whole message into the immersive reader, right? So we can simply, so if you see this, right, so you will see that it has basically displayed all the different message that we have sent here, right? So I can go back, right, and if I go to the ellipses here again, then you will see that if you go to more actions, you can create task, create work item, or create a poly, which we'll discuss when we are discussing about the task and how you can work with the task within the messages, right? So this is a brief about the formatting option. Then there are more options that are available here at the bottom, which we'll discuss in the next tutorial. Previously, we have created this particular group, and we are chatting within a group with group of people, right? You can see that this icon shows that the number of participants that are there in this group. And we have also seen different formatting options, right? The message formatting option with this particular icon. So if you click on this format, it will open this format window, and you can format your message that you are going to send with different options that are available here. Okay, now what exactly is this icon here, right? So if you click on this set delivery option, right, you will see that usually the messages are sent as standard messages. Okay, but if you want to send a message with high importance, you click on important. If it is urgent, recipient notified every 2 minutes for 20 minutes, right? So if it is something urgent, you select urgent. Okay, that this is urgent, and what happens is that every 2 minutes for 20 minutes the recipient will be notified, right? Very cool feature. If you want somebody's attention and things are really urgent, then you can go ahead and use this particular feature. Not always, but yes, you go ahead and use important if it is something important, to mark it as an important. Say for example, this is very important. Let's see how it appears, right? So if I send this message, okay, let me pop out. Okay, so I have popped out the window so you can see it clearly. So now you will see that this is a very important message, And if I send this, click on this icon here, and you'll see that this appears as important, right? So this message appears as important. Now if I want to send an urgent message, okay, so I can say this is urgent, okay, and then choose urgent. So in this particular case, recipient will be notified every 2 minutes, which is kind of only in case of urgent, it needs to be there. Okay, so you'll see that it appears, this icon appears for the urgent messages. Now in the next here, you will see that you can attach the file, right? So if I want to attach any of the file from OneDrive or from my computer, I can simply choose the files from my computer, attach them, and then send the file in the group as well. Okay, then you have the option for loop components. Okay, so if you click on the loop components, you can see that you can create a bulleted list, right? You can create a checklist, you can create a numbered list, paragraph, table, task list, etc. Okay, so task list is very cool feature. I'll discuss it separately, but say for example, I want to go ahead with the bullet list. Okay, so I can say important items, say for example, okay, and then just start typing in. So item 1, and then item 2, item 3, right? And then simply send it. So here the other important thing that you need to know is that people in your organization with the link can edit, right? This is what the setting is at the moment. If I click on that, it will open what all link settings options are there. Okay, so you'll see I have an option, anyone with the link, people in your organization with the link, people currently in this chat is selected, right? So any people who are in this chat will be able to edit this, right? And then you have the option to edit or can view. Okay, if I choose can view, they can't edit. Okay, so you can change these link settings as well. Once you are happy, you can then go ahead and send, and then that message will appear here, and you will see that team can work in collaboration. Okay, so let it sync, and you will see that this list appears like this. Okay, so let me expand this here. So you'll see that this list appears, and if say for example somebody wants to change anything, you'll see as soon as the person will be changing anything, their icon or their name will be highlighted that they are doing something in this particular list, right? So this is very cool feature for working in a collaboration, right? So this is what this loop components is all about, and you can go ahead and explore. I'll explain separately about the task list, but very nice and cool feature there. Okay, but you can go ahead and play around with adding the table and then paragraph, etc. Okay, then we have the option for emoji, right? So you'll get all the emoji list here, different smiley and all different options that are available, so you can play around and explore. This is important for making things environment light within the team. So emojis and GIFs is another one which you can go ahead and use, like, okay, Thursday, Friday, let's have some lighter moments in the group. So we just use or post these GIFs and emojis, right? Then you have the stickers as well, wherein you can add different stickers, right? So it works on my machine, right? Works on my machine. So very common one. Okay, so developers posting to testers, works on my machine. Okay, so very common. So you'll see that it keeps the environment light and everyone is kind of enjoying the workplace, right? So the next thing is if you want to schedule the meeting in this group, so click on this schedule meeting. Okay, icon, let me close it. So this is the schedule meeting, and it will open the schedule meeting which is specific to this particular group. Okay, so you'll see that new meeting, scheduling assistant, automatically those people who are part of that group will be added here. The timing, etc., you can choose what timing you want to choose accordingly, put the title there, right? And you can provide all the relevant details for the meeting, and you can send the meeting invite directly from here. Okay, then you have this option of stream. So if you click on the stream, you can stream basically from the Microsoft Stream. You can put that link here. Then you have this praise. So click on this praise, and you can send the praise to people. All right. So that's another. So if let it load, and then you can send different badges. Okay, so I can say, okay, inclusive, and then I can say whomsoever I want to send a praise. Okay, and I can simply add a personal note as well. All right, or I can say awesome, and then for their work, okay, and then click on send, and that praise will be sent to that particular person. Okay, so you will see that this is how the praise will appear. So very nice feature in Teams to praise the team members within your team, right? Then we have this approvals. Okay, so you can also have the approval process and approval management within the Teams as well. So I can go ahead and create an approval right from the Teams. Okay, so I click on the approval. I can say request type is either basic or e-sign, and then what exactly I'm looking for, who are the approvers, right? Accordingly put all the details and then send that approval. So I'll create a separate video on the approval process anyways, but this is how you can go ahead and see what all features are. So this is the approval feature, then you have this the learning feature, and then you have the different updates here. Okay, if you go here in the right hand side in the ellipses, you can find more apps and add more apps into the list here. Okay, but briefly, these are some of the features that are available out of the box, right? And very useful. A lot of features are there. It is very compact and very comprehensive sort of collaboration tool that the more you explore, the more you know about it, the more you will love working with Teams, and your team will be also enjoying the overall work and the seamless approach, basically like having the approval within the Teams itself, right? Having or basically opportunity to schedule meeting within the Teams. So all of this brings team together, working collaboratively and together achieving the overall project goals. One-to-one call, pretty simple. So basically from the chat itself, right? If you want to call someone, you simply go ahead and search for the person you want to call. Say for example, I want to call the person RCB tutorials, right? So you search for that, and that will be appearing here in the recent. Okay, and here once you go to that particular person, here you have the option to chat, or at the top you have the option to do audio call or a video call, right? So if you want to do a video call, you simply go ahead and click on the video call, or simply go ahead and do the audio call. Let's do the audio call first. So I'll simply click on the audio call, and Microsoft Teams will start the audio call with that particular person and try to call that particular person. So I've started getting the call here because I have logged in as this RCB tutorials on the other interface. Let me accept it. So if I put this on speaker, so you can see the voice is being echoed on the other mobile app, okay, which is not very pleasant, but yes. Okay, so I have muted it anyways. Now this is how you are going to go ahead and do the audio call. Now on the audio call itself, you separately don't need to go ahead and do the video call. If you want to do video call, you can go ahead, definitely do it. But from the audio call itself, you can switch your camera on, and that turns to the video call, right? So now the audio call is going because the camera is turned off. So this is an audio call. So if I click on the camera icon here, okay, and here, let me click on that, and the camera will start. Okay, so the reason being the video couldn't be turned on is, let me turn on this video here. So you can see here the video is not getting turned on. Okay, so you can see that now I have turned on the video on my other device. Okay, and you can see the video, or the other person can see the video. Now here when I'm turning on the video, because I'm also recording, okay, so my video stream is being utilized by the recorder software. That is why the Teams is not able to get that access. Okay, so this is basically how you are going to convert the same call to the video call, right? Now say for example, you want to do a video call with that particular person. Okay, so I'll leave this call. To disconnect the call, simply click on leave, and the call will get disconnected, right? Now to start the video call with a single person, simply click on the video call. So for this particular person, simply click on the video call, or whosoever you want to search for, simply go ahead and search and do the video call. So click on the video call, and you will be able to see the other person's video only when they enable their video. Okay, so by default, if you do the video call, your camera will be turned on. All right, your camera will be turned on and they'll be able to get the call. Okay, but you will be able to see them only when they turn on their camera. So now I'm turning on the camera for the person. So now you can see me here, right? So this is how the video call will look like, right? This is how the video calls will look like. The other person will be able to see your video once you have started the video call, and you will be able to see their video once they have enabled their video. All right. So this is basically how we are going to do the calls within Microsoft Teams. Okay. And pretty simple. Now within the call, there are many other options that you can explore. Okay. So let me maximize this. Now this call is going on. I can go ahead and also start conversation or typing in something. Say, for example, during the call, we also want to share some important links and information. So we can go ahead and click on the chat icon there, and then start chatting within the call while the call is going on. Then we can start chatting there as well. Okay. The other thing is we can simply click on this people here, and it will show the participants that are there in this particular call, right? So there are 2 participants at the moment. So it will show the participants that are there in this call. Okay. Now, if say, for example, we go to this show participant, right? And we want to add more participant to this call. Okay. So what you can do is you can simply click on the ID of the person whom you want to add. Okay. And then simply click on that option that appears. Okay. So for example, we want to add this person, RCV tutorials 1 as well. We can simply go ahead and click on request to join, and that person will be also a provider or given the call to basically join this same meeting that you are running. Okay. So this will then get converted into a video call or a group call basically. Okay. Now the other important thing is around the reactions. You can go ahead and give the reactions within the chat. Okay. Then you can turn on and off the camera. Okay. So at the moment it is on, we can turn off the camera. You can turn on and off the mic. So you simply click on the off here. Okay. And this line appears. That means the mic has been muted for you. Similarly, the other person who is on the other interface, they can do similar sort of settings on their devices to mute the mic or to turn off the camera. So I have turned off the camera. Now you can see that the camera has been turned off. Now I have turned on the camera, and you can see that the camera is on, and you are able to see me here on the screen as well. Okay. Now the other thing is here we can go ahead and explore the app, or there are different apps that you want to share. Say for example, you want to also have the whiteboard being shared during the call. So you can go ahead and explore the app or add the whiteboard there. In the more section, okay, you can see there are different options around the gallery, together mode. Okay. So if you simply go to the together mode, it will change different mode. Okay. So let's say for example, we change the scene to auditorium mode. Okay. And then apply this, and you will see that it has moved to the auditorium mode. Okay. And now whosoever are the participants, you will be able to see that people are sitting there and talking. All right. Now the other option here is that you can have this gallery at top. Okay. All different settings. You can do the full screen. Apply background effects is very important. So if you do not want to show the background during your call, you can specify the blur. You can do different options here. You can choose different backgrounds, right? So for example, I have chosen this one. You can go ahead and preview, and then once you are fine with the preview, okay, you can apply, and then that preview will be applied for you. Okay. Now because my camera is being utilized here during the recording, so you are not able to see that preview here. Okay. So for the other person, they can basically go ahead and do the same thing from their device. Okay. So this is basically some of the settings here. So if we go ahead and go further here, you can go ahead and start the recording of the call as well. Okay. Then you can also turn on the live captions. You can also don't show chat bubble. So these are different notification options that you can explore here. Okay. And then the rest thing about the call is, so say for example, you want to share different files and different chat options. So within the chat itself, it is exactly similar. So all the functionalities within this call will be exactly similar to what we have learned within the chat as well, right? So same thing you can go ahead and explore with the chat option. You can put the stickers or the different zip file, GIF files, etc., and explore with different chat options during the call itself. You can do all of that. Okay. So this is briefly how you are going to go ahead to the one-to-one one-to-one call or group call within Teams. Now, in order to leave the call, simply go ahead and click on leave if you simply want to leave yourself, okay, but let the call continue because you are the organizer, okay. So if you say, end meeting, it will end the full meeting for everyone, okay. If you simply leave, then you will leave the meeting, but if other group members are joined and talking on that particular call, the call will still go on and they will be able to communicate. Unless until you end the meeting will continue and other people will be able to communicate, okay. So let's go ahead and end the meeting, and meeting will basically, it will prompt to end the meeting. Simply click on end meeting and the meeting will end, okay. Now this is about one-to-one call. All right, so we have also understood about the group call, but group call is also similar. Say for example, we want to create a new group call, okay. So simply click on new chat here, right, and add the members in the chat first, okay. So say for example, I have added members that I want to be part of this particular chat, okay. Click on this little icon here and say for example, this is for release 1 discussion, okay. So release 1 user story discussion, okay. So if this is for release 1 user story discussion, I have provided the group name, hit enter, and that chat will get created, okay. So you'll see that release 1 user story has been created, and if you see here in the right hand side, there are 3 participants because I'm the one who is the organizer and the other 2 guests that I have added. You can add more people here. If you want to start group call, it's absolutely similar. Click on this audio call icon here or the video call to start the video call with this particular group members, and everyone who is part of this particular group will start getting notification in their Teams and they can accept the call, and you can go ahead and do the video call or audio call with the group members that you have added in this particular group here, okay. Scheduling the meeting within Teams is absolutely simple and easy. You simply have to go to this calendar icon here and it will show you the calendar for the work week, right? So basically all the work week it will show. If you want to change this calendar to a day or a week, okay, simply say for example, you also want to see Sunday and Monday there, you need to change it to the week, okay. So let's say we simply want to see the daily calendar, okay. So for example, how my day looks like today. All right, so if you change it to daily, then you will see how your work day look like, how many meetings you have in this calendar. It will be all showing here, and then you can plan your work accordingly. Now setting up the meetings within Teams is absolutely simple. So say for example, I want to set up a meeting with someone, okay, on a particular day. So let's say I switch to work week, and on Monday at 10 a.m. I want to set up a meeting with someone, okay. So say for example, simply if you just hover over, you will see that in half an hour slot this highlights these slots, okay. So simply if I go ahead at 10 a.m. and click, so this means basically from 10 to 10:30 slot will be picked up, okay. So you simply click on that and Microsoft Teams will automatically pick the new meeting pop up, or it will appear basically with the time zone that you are in, okay, and it will automatically select that during this time show as busy. You can categorize this meeting in different category or the color category, okay. So for example, I just want to categorize is as a green category, okay. And then in the response options, I want to request the responses from the members that I'm inviting in this particular meeting, okay. So simply I have to say request responses, and then also if I want to allow forwarding of this meeting to other members. So for example, I have set up this meeting for only 3 people and I do not want this meeting request to be forwarded to any more people apart from those 3 people, okay. This is confidential meeting only between the 3 people that I am going to set. I'll simply disable this allow forwarding option there, okay. If I want to allow this meeting invite to be forwarded to any further people within the team, simply click on allow forwarding and make sure this is checked there, okay. Now say for example, this is meeting for release 1, okay. So something, some headline there, and then in the required attendees, you have to basically select the required attendees who are required in this particular meeting for sure, right. So you simply go ahead and choose the members that are required for this particular meeting. Okay, so adding more people, you simply click on adding, basically searching those members and add in this particular box here. All right, now in the optional, if you want to say I want to add optional attendees who, if they want, they can attend, but they are optional, right? So in the click on that optional and then click the person or search for the person who or whom you want to basically put in the optional, right? So you can have multiple people within the optional, multiple people within the required field. So once you are done with this, you see the date and time automatically being picked up, right? If you want to change the timeline, right? So for example, you want to have it for an hour. Okay, simply click on this drop down from 10 a.m. and you say 1 hour. Okay, and it will automatically adjust to from 10 to 11. All right, and then there are other options. For example, this by default will be not repeat meeting, right? If you want to set up a meeting that is recurring, you can click on this drop down here and you can select every weekday, Monday to Friday. It will repeat at the same time, 10 to 11. Okay, if you select every weekday, it will be basically from Monday to Friday. It will repeat every day, every working day, until you select the end date. Okay, so for example, I want to repeat this meeting only up to 31st of December 2022, and then I have to select this end date here. All right, and then click on save. So this way it will repeat this particular meeting, and you can set up a recurring meeting which repeats every day with a particular end date. Okay, and you can simply click on save. So you'll see that it has changed, occurs every Monday through Friday until this particular date, right? That's what we have said. Now you can say repeat daily or repeat weekly, right? So you repeat every one day, repeat, and then select the end date, right? Or you can say repeat weekly, repeat monthly, yearly, or custom repeat as well. So in the custom repeat, I can choose on which days I want to have this meeting, right? So I'll say repeat every, say for example, instead of one day, I want to have it every 2 days repeat. Okay, and then select an end date when this whole meeting will end. So you'll see that it has occurs every 2 days starting this, and then it will basically go on. The last option is the custom repeat. So basically if I click on the custom, right, so I can choose the recurrence based on the custom setting that I can do here in the set recurrence. Okay, if I do not want to have this meeting repeating, which I was doing previously, so just one instance of the meeting, so click on does not repeat, and then here you can simply go ahead and add channel if you want, right? Not required. You can add the location, right? So for example, you all want to gather in a particular meeting room, you select that particular location here, and then you type in what all agenda about the meeting is, right? And within this is a text field, so you can type in, or you can basically use all the required or all the available options within the formatting of the text to format it in any ways that you want, right? But mostly you will be keeping it very simple, right? So I'll simply say agenda to discuss release 1 backlog items. Okay, so simple, I'll choose that. And because this is a Teams meeting, everyone can join remotely anyways, right? Through the Teams call, so location is not required as such. Okay, but if you have some location that you want to specify, you can specify the location and click on send. Okay, so as soon as you will click on send, the meeting will be scheduled. All right, and you will see the calendar will be blocked accordingly from, let me see that it is there. So it was, let me change it to day, work week. Okay, so it wasn't refreshed basically. So now you will see that in the calendar from on Monday, release 1 discussion from 10 to 11 is basically scheduled already, and the other person would have got the invite. All right, so now when the other person will basically accept the invite, or they will put any of the details within the meeting invite, you will be basically notified, right? So if you see the details here, just clicking on this meeting, you can see that there is a Teams link basically, right? And the chat with participants. So you can directly start chat with all of the participants that you have included here in this particular meeting, right? So this is briefly how you are going to set up any meeting within Teams, whether it's a single instance or a recurring meeting. The setup process is absolutely simple. It is very easy to go ahead and go to the calendar and set up the meeting invite. So the first thing is basically, if say for example, you are having a chat with someone, right? So someone or a group of people, you are in the chat section here, which is the most commonly one that is basically used. So for example, I have created this regression testing and there were a couple of participants that we have already added as part of the previous tutorial. Now, how we can share or work collaboratively? The first thing is basically sharing the files, right? So if we go to any of these groups that we are chatting with, so in the file section, if you simply click on the files here, you will be getting an option to share the file, right? So if you see this option here, you can see that I can share the file from OneDrive or upload from the computer. Okay, so say for example, I want to upload the file from my computer. Okay, so let me go to the documents, and here I have created some of the demo files. So for example, I want to share this Excel file, so I'll select this Excel file and click on open, and this will upload this Excel file into this particular group, and people will be having access to this particular file, and that will be available here. Okay, so if I go to the chat section again, so you'll see that this demo.xls file has been shared. Okay, and if we go to, anyone goes to this file section, section of this particular regression testing group, then they'll be having this demo.xls, whichever file name that you will be shared, it will be available here. In the right hand side, you will see that you have 3 ellipses here. Now you can open in the Teams, which is default, or the desktop, which is if you have Excel in the desktop, so you can use the desktop app to open this, or you can open it into the browser. Now if say for example you want to change the default, right? So say for example, I want to change the default as soon as I want to open any of the file, rather than Teams default, I want to always use desktop app. So I can use desktop app or the browser. I can change these default. I'll prefer Teams default because that is way more easier. And then if say for example, somebody wants to download this file that you have shared, they can go ahead and download, or you can copy the link for this particular file, right? And then you can share this link, right? So I can simply copy and share this link with someone, and they will be able to edit, right? So you'll see that anyone with the link can edit. You can change the details here, right? So you can change who has the edit rights here. If you simply see anyone with the link, or people in your organization with the link, or people with existing access, or any specific people you want to mention. Okay, you can choose that, and then you can choose other settings that you can do. For example, can edit or can view. You can change the view or edit options here. Also, you can set up the password. You can secure your file, and you can block the download as well. Okay, so say for example, I simply say can view, and then I can say block download, so this file won't be allowed, or other people won't be able to download this particular file if you simply go ahead and apply and cancel. I'll discuss more on this later. So let me cancel this. Now, people who are working in this particular group, they can simply click on this demo.xls, and this will open by default using the Teams XLS default app, right? So here you can see very neat and clean, plain Excel appears here, and I can start, working on it. So let me close this. So basically, say for example, I am editing something here, and then if say for example, other peoples are also who you have shared this file with are working, then you will be able to see that the people are working collaboratively in this particular file, right? So now if I go back to chat, you will see that this has been shared 3 minutes ago, and this is basically how you are going to share the file from your computer. Now if I want to work collaboratively, right? So say for example, in the file section, if I go back again, and there are other options to share the file, right? So I can go to file and click on share, and I can share the file from OneDrive as well. Okay, so for example, the files are there in the OneDrive. I can choose those files and share in the Teams app as well with the participants that are part of that particular group that you have created. Now there are different options. So this is around the chat section. Now if I go to the Teams, right, so we have the Teams here, and then there are different channels, right, different squads here. So for example, this testing squad, okay, we have general, BAs, etc. So now say for example, within testing, we have certain members who have joined this particular squad, and we want to work collaboratively within the testing squad. So again, we have this files option here. If you go to the file option here, you will see many more options around the file. Okay, you have the upload option, but along with that, I can go ahead and create new files, right? So if you simply click on new, you will see all the different type of files can be created. So Word document, Excel, presentation, OneNote, forms, right? Or visual drawing, link, all of that can be basically added directly from here. So for example, we want to work on a presentation as a team. Okay, so we want to do some sort of a showcase, and then I can say, for example, create a file showcase for, say for example, sprint 1, okay, and PPTX, and click on create. Now the testing squad, the members of the testing squad know that yes, there is a file showcase sprint 1 PPT in this particular channel here, and then team can basically see live what all work has been done here, who is working on it, right? And we can basically work collaboratively on this particular file. Now because this file, this PPT file is there, okay, so now here we can, as usual, simple PPT, so we can go ahead and use the themes basically as we want, right? And then simply go ahead and keep working on this PPT here, and this PPT will be basically available to the team, right? Whosoever is part of this testing squad, it will be available here, and people will be able to see what all things have been done here, and people can work in a collaborative way to complete this and review and put the comments in there. Okay, so this is how you are going to create the new files and work collaboratively. The other option is, obviously, you can upload the files from the computer, right? So you can upload the existing file and share it with the members in this squad, right? So you see that this file has been uploaded. Then there are different options to upload folder and templates as well. If you go to the drop down here, you can see that there is a different view option, so list, compact list, or tiles, etc. And then we can save as or edit the current view or format the current view. So for example, I want to edit this current view, right? So it will basically go to the SharePoint and redirect you to the SharePoint. Let's not go to that as of now, but for more detail, you basically can go ahead and explore these options. Okay, if you go to this information here, you will see that who all have access, right? So 4 groups have access. Okay, first thing, and then you can add, different people. So I can add more people to grant access here. Okay, and then I can specify, different title and more details around this as well. Okay, so you'll see you can go through the activity and different details available here. Now if I go to this 3 ellipses here, you can see that you can share, okay, send a link or copy a link, you can download the file, you can add a shortcut, you can open these files in the SharePoint and add shortcut to OneDrive. All right, these are some of the options. Now if I simply say, for example, let's say I click on this show actions. Okay, now if you have selected any of the file and clicked on the ellipses, you will see you can open, you can preview, and in the open you have again Teams default, or in the browser, or in the app that is supported for this particular file, which is Word app, right, on your desktop or laptop. Then you can share, you can copy the link, you can make this a tab, you can make manage access for this. If you want to allow the access to this particular file only to specific people, you can manage the access. For download, deletion, and renaming, you can use these 3 options here, and then you can open the same file in the SharePoint. Okay, then you have this pin to top, which will pin this particular file to top. Say for example, I want this sprint showcase file to always appear on the top, so this will be pinned at the top. Okay, this will be appearing here. Okay, and then you have option to move to copy, which is basically if I want to move to some other folder or some other location, I can use move to move the file to some other location, right? So say for example, here I want to move this to somewhere else. Okay, so I can say, okay, sprinters POs, right? And then I can say move here. Right, so the file will be moved to so looks like this is a private channel, so that's why the file is not visible here, but usually that's how we are going to transfer or move the files from one channel to another. Now you can see that the file that I have moved is not visible here anymore. Okay, now if I go to the ellipsis here, you will see that we have the copy to option as well. So let's say, for example, I want to copy, or I want to go to more properties and check out and see the details. So if I go to the details, you will see the details of that particular file will be available here, who has access and what all details are required basically in terms of the activity, etc. Okay, now copying this particular file, so let's say I want to copy, so copy to, and let's say this time I'll copy to the public channel here. So I want to copy to more places. Let's go to more places, and then for example here RCV Academy. Okay, let's copy to RCV Academy. And where exactly, so whether you want to post in general or copy to general or testing teams, let's say I want to copy to testing team and then copy here. So basically it will go to documents and then testing team. So it should actually be visible here. So you'll see that the copying is still going on. So copied one item to testing team. Okay, let's go to the testing team here and go to files, and you will see the file appears here. Okay, so similarly, if you move, the file that has been moved will appear in the channel wherever you have moved that particular file, right? So this is basically brief about how you are going to work collaboratively within team, in the teams and channels, as well as in the chat. So uploading the file, there are different options. Files, you can upload the complete files, the folder structure, you can share them, and the best part is basically opening the file within the team itself by the default Teams app, and then teams working together collaboratively, providing the different comments and everything in the file itself within the team itself, right? So for example, now I want to comment on this particular file. I can simply go ahead and click on comments and add a new comment here. Okay, so I can say referring to someone who is also working on this particular file, I can simply put their name. So only one person is there, so I just can do the @mention, please edit this section, right? So I can put something like this, and I can assign this comment to whomsoever I want to assign, and then you will see that the comment has been updated here. So this is very good and very efficient feature, I would say, to share the file, work collaboratively, and everyone is on the same page when you are working remotely. This is very good feature available within Teams, and if you use it properly, you'll be really efficient within your team. Okay, how you can share the file as read only, or basically how you can put some of the controls over file to secure the file content. You don't want people to edit the file, you just want to share it with a specific set of people and not allow the download. All of that basically you can do in the Teams. Okay, now say for example here previously we went to the chat, right? So we shared a particular file. Now this file I want to do some configuration here, right? So if simply on that particular file, okay, if you say for example I simply go ahead and click on that file. Okay, so let me open this. So as soon as this file is being shared in the Teams chat, anyone who is part of that particular chat can basically access, right? And if you haven't put any controls, they can do any of the changes here. So how we can control, or how we can make sure that only the relevant people are basically allowed, right? So what we have to do is we have to simply click on these ellipses here, and if you click on this copy link, it will open the pop-up here, and you can basically, this is the link for that particular file, right? Now here at the bottom you'll see that anyone with the link can edit. So if you click on this here, we can control what settings you want to specify here. So here I want to ensure that only specific people can access. So I can click on specific people and I can put the name and group of the people who want to access or whom I want to put the or give the access. So either the full group, email or name you can specify accordingly, right? And then here in the settings, other settings, you can see that I can only change it to can view. Okay, so I've changed it to can view, and then I also don't want people to download, so I can simply say okay, block download, just turn that on. Okay, and now only people, specific people that I'll specify here. Okay, so for example, I say RCV Academy members or some specific member. Okay, so only this particular person will be allowed to access this particular file. Okay, so this is how we are going to basically provide access to this particular file. Now let me remove that, and I'll simply say people in your organization with the link, right? But I'll simply change it to can view. Okay, so only view option should be there, and block the download. I'll apply that. Okay, and then I can simply copy this link and then share this link to the person. Okay, so now what will happen is whosoever will be getting this link, they can only view, okay, and won't be able to do any changes, right? So this is how you are going to restrict the access. Right, now what will happen here? Okay, so if say for example in the chat itself, when we have shared this particular file, so if I try to open, let's see what happens in the chat. So here the edit is still there, right? So I can still go ahead and edit. Why? Because this has been shared in the chat group itself, right? So within the chat it is going to be as is. Now the changes that you have done is basically while sharing this file to some other audience. So when you are creating a share link or sharing the link, there you are restricting the roles and access in that particular case. So the link that will be generated after you have updated all of those details, will whomsoever will be accessing that won't be allowed to access or basically edit this particular file. This is in the chat. Now if we go to the teams and channels, right, so here this is the best way to basically share, right? So if say for example within the testing squad there are certain files, okay, now I'm going to restrict the access. Okay, so here you will see the share option is there. So same thing we can do here in the copy link as well, and you will see that who can basically, so same thing here we have these settings and then what they can basically do, or if we want to block the download. Okay, so all of this you can update here itself. Now if say for example within this file itself, okay, I click on this ellipsis here, all right, and then go to the details or simply go to the manage access, right? So click on the manage access. Now here we can update the manage access or the access of this file in this particular channel. So I can stop sharing, right, or links giving access. So if I say for example stop sharing, okay, so this will delete all links giving access to this item and remove all people with direct access except the owners. So once you do stop sharing, any link that you would have created and shared this particular file will all be removed and only owners will be having the access. So if I click on stop sharing, you can see that all the sharing has stopped. Okay, now there are no sharing links for this item. Okay, and who has the direct access? Only sprint owners have the direct access. Okay, now if say for example I want to grant this access to particular people, I click on the grant access and then here I change this access to only view. Okay, so I don't want people to edit it, so I can specify the group name. So say for example I want, there is no group, okay, that's fine. I think there is some group. So say for example RCV Academy members, okay, and I simply want the view, okay, and then grant access. So now this icon will appear, and if I click on the manage access, you will see that anyone else, okay, so here sprint members have this edit access, but I can change it directly from here to only view or stop sharing. Okay, so I can change it to only view, and then anyone who is part of these groups will have only the view access to this particular file. Right, now apart from file you have a different option. So basically if you go here in the new, you will see that we have option to create the folders as well. So let me create a folder simply with folder 1. Okay, now within this folder I can have multiple files. So for example I have the Word document, I'll say doc1. Let me go back, I don't want to open it, and I will create another Excel sheet. Okay, doc2. So now at the folder level as well,
I can put the restrictions. All right, so if I click on these ellipses here and click on manage access, I can straight away restrict the access to only view here from the drop down to the groups that I want to share this particular folder with. Okay, and this is basically at the folder level I'm doing these changes, right? So if you are doing the changes at the folder level, any file that is there within this particular folder, people will be having only read-only access for the files that are there in this particular folder. So this is at the wider level. If, say for example, within the folder there are sensitive information you don't want people to edit, and you only want to people have a look at that information, then you can provide or put that restriction at the folder level itself, right? And along with that, you can also do more detail or basically restrict the downloads and restrict, or basically when you are sharing, somebody is sharing, then also making sure that they can only basically view and not edit anything in the files that are there in this particular folder, right? If you want to do specific file access, then simply go to the file, specific file, go to the ellipses and click on manage access and change the access for that particular specific file. All right, so this is briefly how you are going to restrict access to certain folders and files within Teams to only relevant people and only allow them to make any relevant changes or have only read-only access to the files within Teams. In the Microsoft Teams, we have this team section and then we have certain channels here, right? So for example, if there is a particular team and you are working collaboratively, so you might have multiple sprints or basically multiple Scrum teams, and say for example, the Scrum team that I have is named sprinters, and within that there will be different channels. For example, the general BAs, development, POs and testing squad, and these are different channels that have been created. Now full squad will be having the full team, and basically when the retrospectives are being run, mostly all of the team members will be there. So now how we can basically go ahead, there are multiple options and multiple apps available in Microsoft Teams for retrospectives, but let's quickly cover one by one. So if, say for example, here I want to do the retrospective, so if you simply go to the add a tab here, right? So if I simply click on this plus sign here, and then we can simply use the whiteboard app that is there. Okay, so simply click on the whiteboard. Once you click on the add a tab, you'll see whiteboard appearing here. If you don't find it in the list there, simply start typing in whiteboard and it will appear here. So we'll click on this plus sign and the whiteboard will be able to add here in the full squad. So let me save this, right? And the name that has been taken is a whiteboard. We can rename it to the relevant retrospective name, so the sprint name. So you will see that it is available here now. All right, so if I want to, say for example, rename it, right? So I'll simply click on this whiteboard or click on this settings here, and then, sorry, not here, I think it should be allowed. Yeah, so from here, from the drop down, click on rename, and then we'll say sprint 1. For example, we just want to save it with sprint 1 retro and click on save, right? So now you'll see that has been saved here. Now within this whiteboard, we have different templates available to basically go ahead and start doing the retro. Okay, so if we see here, we go to the template, so click on the template, and then here you will have the retrospective already. Okay, so click on the retrospective, and then we see different options here, right? So conduct a retrospective on what your team liked, learned, lagged and longed for. This is 4L's retrospective template. Then this is house retrospective, wherein you can use, identify the challenges, strengths and opportunities for improvement. Okay, so different templates available, whichever is suitable for you, you can basically go ahead and start using it. So this is basically reflect as a team on what you should do more or of less. so, right? Or what you need to start, stop and continue doing, which is mostly the most common one. So for example, I'll go ahead and then use the start, stop and continue, and once I'll click on it, it will load the template. Yep. So I simply have to drag and drop here and then click, and then it will load that. Okay. So now it has, loaded it. So now here, if I simply zoom in, you will see that the board is available, right? So now here, the team can basically go ahead and let me cancel this, and they can start adding their notes here. Okay. So now, because this is within this particular full squad, so all the members will be there. And then you can, along with this, you can also have a call, right? So you can simply click on meet now, or if you click on meet now, you will see that you can schedule a retrospective meeting right here itself. So you can simply say ahead or go ahead and say today we will be having retrospective, or next week we'll be having a retrospective. You can schedule the meeting time here so that everyone gets the invite, and when you go ahead and start the meeting, people can go ahead and join, right? So this is basically how easy it is to do the retrospective within the teams. All right. So now, if say for example, zoom in, so people can collaborate on this. They can, say for example, this was good. So this is the comment that I made, and then other peoples can also start, adding different sticky notes here. And this is how the retrospective will basically run. Now, this is just for the sharing part of it, right? Now, during the meeting, right? So basically you will be having the meeting as well. The whole team will be on the call, and then they'll be putting the sticky notes here in the team. Okay. So different meet options, or basically when the meeting will be started, you will be able to do different meeting options. So cameras turned on and off, or the different headset option or the microphone option, what exactly is being selected at the moment, then the room audio, the don't use audio, etc. All of that is something which is basically available. And then here you can change the filters, so background filters, etc. If you want to specify, you want to blur your background before starting the meeting. So this is for somebody who is launching this meeting, and similar functionalities will be available for you when you are joining the meeting as well. You can blur the background, you can use different sort of background by simply enabling this. Before you click on the join button, you can do all of these options. You can go on mute before joining, or if you don't want to go mute before joining, you can keep this microphone on, right? And then you can use different background color, and then click on join button, and you will be joined based on that particular background effect with your camera on. If you don't want your camera on, just keep it turned on, and keep your microphone turned off if you turn off if you don't want your microphone turn on, and then click on join. Okay. So this is for the organizer as well as for the people who are joining the Teams meeting. Okay. Now this is for the joining part of it. Now during the retrospective, everyone will be talking and will be adding their inputs here in what to start, what to stop, and what to continue. Okay. This is using the whiteboard app. Okay. Now there are other apps as well. So for example, you don't want to use whiteboard, so click on this plus sign, and we can search for other apps as well. So if I simply go ahead and say retro, okay, so you'll see that there is a retro app, okay, and if you hover over, you will see that complete retrospective with your Scrum team in a more efficient way. Okay, so this is an app. If I click on this, you'll see that. So this app will require you to log in basically. So I'm not going to go further with this app to because this is a third-party app that is available in the Microsoft marketplace, but Microsoft default provides the whiteboard, which is basically good enough for the retrospective. So that is basically what I usually prefer using, and also is very simple to use in terms of doing all of those retros within your teams and channels, basically for the teams, right, for the sprint teams. So for example, in the general channel here, okay, so we have different teams here, and then these are some of the channels below this particular team. Now within this general channel, I want to create certain polls, right? So whosoever is a member of this particular channel can see those polls. So what I have to do is I have to simply click on this plus icon here next to the file. Once I'm in the general channel, click on the plus and simply start typing in forms. So let me click on plus first, and here we simply need to type in forms. Okay, you will see forms appear. Okay, and if you click on forms, or let's say if I say poll, okay, there are other options available as well. Okay, more will be, these might be, you know, these most probably are the third party ones, but forms is something within Microsoft. So click on the forms, and then you can see that create a shared form that your team can edit and see results, right? So what I can say is, I can say this is poll 1. Okay, and then click on save. Okay, so now you'll see that the form has been created, right, with the name poll 1 that I have provided. And then here I can simply click on this add new. Okay, and then I can add the choice, add the text or the rating or the date, and then if you click on the drop down here, you can basically upload. Okay, so you can see that there are different options as well. So like used to gauge about a certain topic. So basically if you want to add this or you want to upload something, okay, file upload. So let's first quickly create a choice. Okay, so simply create a question. I'll simply say question 1. Okay, and then here I'll say yes and no. Okay, so simple option. Okay, so question 1, I'll say how was the course. Okay, so something very generic. And then we added, you know, 2 options there. If you want more options, you can add more, because there is just yes no, so just remove 2. If this is multiple answers are applicable, so for example you have 4 options there, right, then you enable multiple answers. And then if you want this to be required, okay, so simply change it to the required section here. Okay, and then if you want to add a new choice or new question there, you simply go ahead and add a new choice. Okay, if you want to add a text, simple text here, then you simply, what is your view on MS Teams, right? So people will provide the answer in this answer section. Okay, then add new if you want to do the rating, right? So what are if say for example in the rating you want to provide the question, please rate this course, right? So you can see that there are different options in terms of levels and the stars. So for example, you can change the number or the star here. Okay, if I go ahead and add new, I can add the date, and then I can also use this like it. Okay, so here this is basically we specify different options, and then based on different statement what option people will go ahead and choose then based for that particular question. Once you are happy with all of that poll, okay, then you simply can go ahead, and as soon as you will click on somewhere else, you will see that this form starts appearing. And if you want to just view it, simply click on this view, which will basically give you a preview of this particular poll that you have created. Okay, you will see that this preview is available, and then people will be able to submit. And this is the desktop view, and this is the mobile view, how it will be appearing. Okay, now once this poll has been created, the next thing is this poll is there within this particular general section. So now if we go to the general here and go to the post, you will see that people who are member of this particular channel will be seeing that there is a poll available here, right? So there is a top poll that has been created, and that will be available here. Now people can go ahead and click on the poll and then submit their responses. Now this is something which is very basic. Now how you are going to usually use the poll is during the meetings, or before the meeting, or after the meeting, right? So for example, in the calendar we have created, or we have certain meeting, right? So let's say for example we create or we schedule a meeting. Okay, so let's say I have a meeting on Wednesday, say for example, I'll say poll meeting. So, and then in the attendees we have to add some attendees, say for example, so let me add few attendees there. Okay, and then simply say for example I'll send it. So the meeting will be scheduled, and then if we simply click on this meeting, okay, and click on edit, now here you'll see this plus option, right? So click on the plus option here, and then the same thing that we did in the channel we can do here in the form as well, in the meeting as well. So we'll simply click or search for the form, right? And then click on the forms and add the form, right? So we'll create the quizzes and polls, so simply adding it in the meeting, and then click on save, and you'll see the polls drop down appears here, and we can now design our poll here. Okay, so we'll simply say new poll. All right, and then say, for example, this is a quiz or multiple choice question or a rating, right? Or basically word count or ranking. All of that option is available here. So we'll simply say multiple choice, and then we'll say question 1, and then provide different options, right? If there is an option for multiple selections, you simply enable that. Okay, and then you will see that record names of the respondents only visible to the creator. So for example, I'm creating this particular poll, so I'll be able to see the names of the respondents, right? If I want to keep it anonymous, then disable that, and then allow co-presenters to edit your poll while it's a draft poll, right? Now this will enable, or this will help the co-presenter, whosoever is the co-presenter, to edit the poll that you are going to create if you enable this. Okay, if you disable this, then you will be only be allowed to enable or disable or basically edit this particular poll, right? So we'll simply say save as draft. Okay, and then here you will see that this particular question has been created. If we simply want to say, for example, if we want to edit this poll or delete this poll, you simply click on this drop down here and click on edit poll, right? Or delete the poll. So if I click on edit poll, I can go ahead and add more option or edit this particular poll. All right, so let me close this. Now say, for example, I want to have another poll, so I'll click on new poll again, and this time I want to take the rating, right? So I can simply say, how was the course, say, for example. Okay, and then out of 5 stars, basically what all people want to select, and then click on save draft, right? So as of now, within the meetings, there are 2 draft poll that you can see, right? So they are not yet started. So now meeting hasn't started yet. So if once meeting starts, then you can go ahead and launch, right? So organizers can go ahead and launch the poll once the meeting starts, or prior to meeting you want to launch the poll, right? So you simply click on the launch, and now people who are being invited in this meeting will get a notification that there is a poll, right? Which I have already got, right? Which is basically for the other user which I am logged in. So let me quickly open this and try to put the response. So I'm opening my Teams app on the phone, so I can see that the poll is available, right? So I'll select one option and submit the vote. Okay, so if I refresh it here and go to polls again, then the vote that I have just did from the other account should be available here, right? So if I click on the view results, you will see that one option has been, or vote has been casted there, and that is basically live, right? So this is pre the meeting started, right? Now this is still in the draft, so this is only me that is able to see this particular poll, right? So if I go and then click on response details, right, or close the poll or delete the poll, I can do all of that, or export the result. If I click on response details, I can see that this option is from anonymous, because during the poll setup I had said that do not capture who is basically responding, right? So let me edit this one, right? So if I'll say allow or record the names of the respondents, right, so only visible to creator. So if I enable this option and click on save draft, which is the second poll, and now I launch this poll as well, okay, and I'll cast my vote for this particular vote as well, for this particular. Now you'll see that this poll has changed to live, okay, and I should be getting the notification again. So let me quickly vote for this one as well. It is a bit slow, it's still loading. So yep, I've got the poll. Now let me rate the course, and then let's see the results. So results have been submitted from my mobile phone, and if I go to view results now, you will see that there is one result, and this is basically the result that is shown here. And if the organizer want to see the response details now for this one, this will show the user who has responded to this particular poll, right? So still it is showing as anonymous, which is something not expected. So looks like this might be because the respondent is not in the company network, right? So that's why it's capturing it as anonymous. But usually while creating the poll, you can see that if you enable this option, say for example in the quiz, if I say record names of the respondents, which is only visible to creator, actually it should go ahead and respond or capture the name of the respondent and show it to the creator of this poll, right? So this is basically briefly how you're going to create the poll within the meeting, before the meeting, during the meeting, or after the meeting. You can go ahead and launch the poll anytime, right? So after scheduling the meeting, you can create any number of polls first thing here, and then you can launch the poll before the meeting. When the meeting is going on, the organizer can launch the poll, and after the meeting as well. Since the meeting has been scheduled, you can launch the poll and capture the responses accordingly. In the teams and in the channels, it is again very simple to set up the poll and share it within the channel itself, so team can vote there as well. Okay. So the first thing, how you are going to change the profile picture. So here, if you see that there is no profile picture, and if there is no profile picture, your name initials will be taken within your profile picture. Okay. So in order to change the profile picture, it's absolutely simple. Simply click on this icon here, the profile icon. And then if you hover over this profile picture icon here, you will see that you can basically click on it and it will open the change your profile picture pop-up. Okay. Now here you will see that it will be updated for all of your Microsoft 365 apps. So basically this is when you update it here, it will get updated everywhere. Okay. So simply you can click on upload picture, and whatever picture you want to use, simply choose that picture and click on open, right? And you will see that particular picture has been updated here. Now I can go ahead and basically, as it is not saved yet, so I can simply save it, and now you will see that it has been saved. In order to remove the picture, you simply click on this remove picture and the picture will be removed, right? It will go to the default. So now I'll close it, and now you will see that it has updated the profile picture here, whatever picture I have chosen there. Okay. Now the next thing is how you are going to change the team's theme. So if you simply go to the manage account, right, here as well you can change the profile picture, right? So in the accounts you will see that if I hover over this picture, you will see that I can change it. If I click, it will open the same window. So either ways you can do it. Now let's go to the manage account again and see all different sort of settings that you can do here. So if you go to general here, you will see that in the general tab itself, you'll get the default dark and high contrast themes and the chat density as well. So you can configure all of this. So for example, by default, you will see this default theme applied, right? Now you do not want the light theme, you want the dark theme. Okay. So you can choose the dark theme and you will see that automatically themes has changed to the dark theme. If you want high contrast, which is something which I like, so high contrast is something you can do. Or if you want the, along with that, you want different chat density, right? So you want compact chat density as well. So you can choose the compact chat density. Below the application, you will see that you have this auto start application. Do you want to really auto start your application or teams when the system, opens up, right? So you can simply disable that if you do not want to auto start the application. Then you can see the open application in the background. If you choose that, then application will be open in the background. On closing, keep the application running. So basically when you click on this cross in the teams, when you close the application still keeps running in the background. If you do not want to keep the application running or teams running, when you click on cross, you disable this particular option here. Okay, I'll keep that enabled because these are the default options, so I'll just stick with that. Okay, disable GPU hardware acceleration, right? So this is more of a tech sort of thing, not required as such. And then register Teams as the chat app for Office, which is also default setting. Right now, the next thing is you'll see that there is another enable media logs, which is basically for diagnostic purpose. Now the next thing is open the new chat, right? So usually the chat, whenever somebody chats, it will open in the main window itself, right? So if you want to open always the chat in the new window, then you can select the new window. I would prefer keeping main window because it is more neat and clean to stick to the main window, right? And then you have this app language we can change, and you can change the keyboard language which overrides keyboard shortcut. Okay, and then enable spell check is also checked. So these are some of the key settings around theme and the application. So in the accounts, we have seen how to change the profile picture. Anyways, you can manage the account, which is out of scope of this particular video. If you go to privacy, you can basically change the privacy options here, which is all available here in the privacy section. In order to manage notifications, right? So you can see that when you want to get notified if you miss the email, right? Or missed activity email. So if, say, for example, you missed somebody's chat, right? Then how often do you want that miss activity to be emailed to you, right? And then in the appearance and sound, okay, this is where you can change the sound. Okay, so this is by default the Teams built-in notification style, but I can change it to the Windows notification style as well. Okay, so Teams built-in is what will be appearance and a sound for the Teams. Okay, and then show message preview is enabled, and play sound for incoming call and notification. If you disable this, then no sound will be played when notification or call will be coming to your Teams. Okay, I'll keep it enabled. And then you will see that there are different options around the desktop and activity notifications for new message, reaction, mention, replies, etc. So you can change all of these, right? So for example, for chat, I want to edit. Okay, I click on edit, and then you will see at mention where the notification should appear. It should appear in the banner and the feed. The message where it should appear, whether you want to get it on the banner or you want to turn off. Similarly, for the likes, you want to enable it on banner and feed, or you want to turn it off. Okay, so these are some of the settings for chat or meetings and people. So you can go ahead and play around with these, and it will be really helpful to basically see what all configurations are available in terms of notifications. In the devices, which is very important, so basically you can choose what microphone, what audio devices you are basically going to use, what speaker you are going to configure, right? So if, say, for example, I want to have another speaker, right, or I want to choose another speaker that is connected to my device, I can select the drop down and choose the other speaker wherein I want to listen the Teams meeting audio. For the microphone, I can choose different microphone that are connected and available in my machine. And say, for example, I want to use a high quality microphone, I can select the microphone from the drop down here, and that particular microphone will be used when Teams call will be made. Okay, and then automatically adjust mic sensitivity, make it default. So that is the default. Noise suppression is always enabled, so background noise is suppressed basically, right? And then there are camera options as well, wherein you can choose the different camera if you want to choose a different camera within the Teams. Okay, then you have the permission, so app permission, which app you want to give permission to, so to Teams. So if I go to Excel, then what all permission that particular app will use, you can enable that or disable here. Then the captions and transcript, you will see that automatically identify main meeting caption transcript, that is by default enabled. If you want to disable, you can disable that. For the files, you can see that where the download location of the file is whenever you are trying to download the files that are shared within the Teams. If you want to change, this is the location by default. For your computer it might be different, which is Windows download location, but you can change the download location for Teams file by simply clicking on the change and selecting the relevant location on your computer. And then file open preference is always Teams. So if for Word, PowerPoint, Excel, so any of these files, by default Teams default will be used, but you can change it to the desktop app or the browser from the drop down. Okay, I prefer keeping it to Teams because then it will be very seamless experience. Then in the calls, you will see that you can do different call settings. So if unanswered, you can set up to voicemail, or you can change to do nothing. So if you set it to voicemail, if you haven't answered the call, it will go into the voicemail and people can leave the voicemail for you. So you can basically listen who called and what exactly they were looking for. Then you can configure the voicemail as well. You can configure the ringtones. Okay. So if, say, for example, you want to configure a different ringtone, right? Choose a ringtone for an incoming call. So by default, this is the ringtone, right? So the Teams ringtone. But if you want to choose something else, then you can choose different ringtone for the Teams call as well. Okay. So these are some of the very important settings within Teams. And along with this, the general option, how to change your theme. Okay. If you want to change different theme and the chat density, and also to change the profile picture. Now let's close this and see how this theme looks like. Okay. So you'll see that now it is more sort of a compact. It is a different theme altogether. It is not a light theme. It is high contrast. Okay. And I can also go back here and let's change the chat density to comfy. Okay, and close it. So this was compact. Let's change it to comfy, to the light theme. So you'll see that it has changed to light, right? I'll change it to high contrast again and close it. So now you will see that it has again changed the theme accordingly, and your messages to the different, comfy or the other option that is available there. Okay, so you can go ahead, play around. This is very simple setting. All right. You can choose different themes, but I'll prefer keeping it to the default theme, which is the lighter theme. So it is more convenient for me to use the lighter theme in Teams. Okay, which is the default anyway. Loop components are such a great feature within Microsoft Teams that it will help you to do or solve so many day-to-day tasks and the polls basically that you do within your team, right? So for example, we have a development team, right? So we have a development team wherein we have certain members within the team, right? Now many times, we want to see how many people are or what their plans are for next sprint or 1 month. Apart from that, if, say, for example, we are working on certain tasks, what is the status of those tasks for each and every member? We want to see and get the list of updates, and everyone needs to update that. So usually what teams do, they have this Excel sheet and maintain all of the tasks within the Excel sheet, and people go ahead and update that. But with the loop components, let's see what all things we can solve with it, right? So in Microsoft Teams, you will see this icon here. Okay. And this is what the loop components is. So if I click on the loop component, you will see that you can send a component in this particular team chat, right? So this is the development team chat where I have added few members of the team, and I can send the component to everyone in the chat who can then edit inline, right? So I can send a bulleted list. I can send a checklist of the items. Say, for example, I want to see how many, I have a task list or a checklist, and I want to see, and these tasks are being assigned to different members of the team, and I want to see how many of them have been basically completed, right? So I can have this checklist in that particular case, right? So I can click on checklist, and then you will see that it started syncing, right? So I can say that release 1 task status, right? And then we can add different tasks here. Okay, so I can say unit testing, system testing, defect fixes. So say, for example, hypothetically, there were some tasks that need to be completed before we can go ahead with the release, right? So I, as a lead or manager, I can go ahead and update all of this with the loop component, and then go ahead and send it, right? So okay, so you can see that after you have done all of this loop components, you can click on this send loop components. Okay, so let me send it and then zoom out again. Okay, so you can see properly. Okay, so now you will see that the loop component has been sent, and now the team basically can go ahead, and so the members of the team can go ahead and they can, whosoever is assigned these tasks, they can go ahead and say, okay, this has been done, right? So they can simply tick box that, and that will be striked off, and everyone will be basically be able to see that yes, this has been done successfully. Okay, so this is how the loop component will help you to see the quick status. The next use case is basically around, let me move the video here. So next use case is around, say for example, I want to see what are the plans for next month of the whole team, right? So I can say add a table, right? And I can have certain columns and rows there, okay? And here I can have the team member name, right? And then if they are on leave or not, okay? So on leave for the next month. So we can simply say, please answer whether you are on leave for next, on leave on any days for the next month or no, right? And if yes, then dates please. Okay, so which date you are going on leave, right? So then here you can mention the team member name. So I can say the team member name, okay, and then simply go ahead and send this particular table, right? And here I can update. So here I can say update leaves for next month, okay, and you specify the month. Say for example, I want to say January 2023. All right. And then when you send it, everyone in this particular chat will be notified that yes, there is a loop component and people will be able to update this collaboratively, right? And it will be available for everyone. So say for example, I've got this loop component. I have got this in chat. So I'll be notified anyways. Everyone will be notified and I'll say, yes, I'm on leave. And then I'll update the dates, right? So I'll update, what dates I'm on leave. So I can say I'm on leave on 2nd of Jan 2023. Okay, so accordingly people can update the dates and others can update the dates and the status as well. So this is basically how the loop component is going to really help you, whether it's a task status, whether you are capturing the leave status. And if you see, there is a checklist, there is a task list as well, right? So you can, for the tasks, you can use the task list. So here I can specify, what all tasks. So for example, we need to finish something, right? So we need to finish some tasks. So I can say release 1 tasks to be completed, right? Then I can specify the task name. So I can say unit test, then I can say system test, right? And then who needs to do that, right? So within unit test as well, if there is any specific granular level detail for a specific user story or requirement, I can then go ahead and assign, right? So I can, add mention as well to the person who is allocated that particular task, right? So I can assign this to the team members as well, and then also specify the due date for that task. So I can say, okay, we need to finish this by this particular date, and the system test needs to be finished by 16th, right? And then you can keep adding more tasks there and then go ahead and send it, right? Now the team will be notified that yes, this is basically the task list that needs to be done for this particular release. And this is very helpful for the sprint work as well. So usually most of the development team work in sprints. So within the sprint, if you can quickly go ahead and have this for the development team, for the testing team individually, this makes team more effective and everyone knows what exactly needs to be done, what is the due date, who is the assignee, and they can work on it collaboratively and they can update it here basically, whether this is completed by this particular date or not, or if it is completed, they can update and everyone will be able to see the status of loop components that have been shared here within this particular team chat itself, right? So this is the basic of the loop component, how you are going to use the loop component and what exactly their relevance is. Very helpful feature, and you can think of so many different ways where you can use loop components within your team. Okay. Now the next thing is, say for example, now these loop components are visible on the teams in the team chat. So if you want to, see where exactly this gets stored, right? So if I simply, click on this loop component, it will go to the office.com, right? And all of these loop components will be stored in your office.com account itself. Okay. So let me simply go ahead and check once it's signed in. Okay. So you'll see that here I'm able to see the loop components, right? So the task, if I go to home page here, right? So I'm in the office.com, I'm signed up in my account here, and then you will see that all the loop components that have been shared in the chat are available here. So release 1 task status, task to be completed, the leaves, everything. I can go ahead and click on those and see here in my office.com account, in Microsoft 365 account itself. So everything gets saved, whatever is there in your team's chat history, whatever leave loop components you have shared as well. Okay, so let me refresh. You will see that here I have this, right? So if you click on the ellipses here, you can basically open, you can share it as well as an email or a copy link or in the teams to some other team members as well. You can add to the to-do or favorite, hide or download it as well. Okay, so if I go ahead and open, so it will open the file location, right? Or click on open. Okay, let me refresh. It's not loading. So here it shows that it is available, but if I go to home, let me go back here and let's try clicking here again to see the other loop component that I have shared. So your loop components will be visible something like this in your office.com account, right? And as and when people update in your team the loop components, everything will basically get updated here as well as in your office.com account as well, right? So everything gets saved over the cloud, so it will be available for you in this list here. So that is pretty much all about the loop components. Very helpful feature, very effective. So if you want to use it, go ahead, try using it with your team. You'll be really amazed how effective and collaborative, or you can work in a more collaborative way with your team and get all the inputs and feedback from the team easily with the loop components. So within Microsoft Teams, there is an option to basically format the code, whether it doesn't matter which programming language it is for. You can format the code and send it, right? So say for example, if I go to a website here and let's copy this particular code, right? So this code here is an HTML code, and if you want to send this particular code, say for example in this chat, just plain copy paste. Okay, and if I send this, you will see that it doesn't appear properly. Okay, it is not formatted properly, and then there is an issue with the formatting. So how we can basically go ahead and format this well, so it is basically, and if there is a long line of code, then it will be a big problem. So in order to send that, basically you have to simply click on the format, okay, and it will open this format option here. All right, now in the click on these 3 ellipses and click on code snippet, right? So simply click on code snippet and then type in the code snippet there, whatever code you are trying to send. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so now you will see that I can now add the title here, okay, and then also add the text, or basically what type of this code it is. So in the drop down, you will see that different languages that could be used in software development, they are all available. And because this is an HTML code, I'll simply say this is an HTML code from the drop down. And then you can also wrap text, right? So if you'll wrap text, then this text will be wrapped. Okay, so it will be wrapped and then it will be shown there in the chat. And here I'll say this is a sample code. Okay, so whatever title you want to mention there, and then insert. So as soon as you will insert, it will be inserted here with the title and everything in the chat. It hasn't been sent yet. Okay, so now in order to send it, simply click on send or enter, and now this particular code will be sent properly. Now you see the difference here, right? So the previous one is the raw format, okay, and now this is the format that we have used or sent using the code snippet. So it is well formatted, numbered, lines are numbered and properly aligned within the chat, and people can now go ahead and quickly copy and use this particular code snippet in their code, or can refer it in a much cleaner way rather than sending it this way. So this is briefly how you are going to send any sort of code. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Java or Python. So if I simply go ahead, go to the format again and then click on this code snippet, you will see that, because now I have zoomed in, so zoom again. So now if I go ahead and click on code snippet, and so from here you can choose any of the programming language, any code snippet that you are going to send from this particular drop down, and insert and send it. Okay, so this is how easy it is to send the code snippet properly in Microsoft Teams, whether one-to-one you are doing one-to-one chat or group chat.
very simple and easy. So say for example, you want to add a new member to the development team. Okay, so development team has some members, or say for example, let's say go to the poll meeting, or so we have this meeting, we have the chat, right? And then we have the other teams as well. So for example, you want to include new members to the poll meeting or a meeting. So in the right hand side, click on this person icon and then click on add people. Okay, so here I can simply go ahead and type in the name of the person that I want to add. And then also, if you want to share the previous chat history, you can include all the chat history, or you want to share only the history from past couple of days, select this second option and specify how many days of history you want to share. For example, I want to share only the past 2 days history. You specify the number of days here. If you don't want to include any chat history that has been there in this particular meeting here, whatever was discussed here, then you simply include or don't include the chat history. Okay, I'll include everything there, or just don't include any chat history, and then click on add, right? So now you will see the number of people has changed, and you will see that person whom I have added in the meeting is there added in this particular meeting, right? So you can add people in the meeting directly from the teams, or say for example, I want to add people in the group chat regression testing, right? So this is the group that have been created. Now here I want to add a new person, so simply click on this person icon and then click on add people, and then start typing in the name of the people that you want to add, right? So I have added them, and this time let me include all the chat history. So I'll include all of the chat history, click on add, and now this person who has been added will be part of this particular group and will be able to see all the previous chat history as well, right? So you'll see that notification here who added this particular person to chat and shared all chat history. So basically everyone who is part of this group now will be able to see that yes, new person has been added and all the chat history has been shared with that particular person. Okay, so this is briefly how you are going to add a new person to any group chat or to the meeting. Okay, or you can go to the teams as well, right? So for example, in the teams and channels, you want to add a new person. So I can go to this sprinters team. Okay, and in the sprinters team, I want to basically add a new member, right? So simply click on these 3 ellipses here, click on add member, and then start typing in the member that you want to add. Okay, so I'll simply start typing in the member and then click on add, and now this particular person will be added, right? So you'll see that this particular person has been added, and here from the drop down you will see that you can basically select what sort of role they will be playing in this particular team. So you can either make them owner or the member, right? So now because they are the member, so I'll just keep it as member, and then you will see I can also add and remove tag names here as well, right? So for example, this is the dev team member. Okay, and then I can create a new tag, right? And then simply close it. So now if you see that in this particular team here, sprinters team, they will be basically part of all the channels, basically, you know, all the channels that are there, they'll be having access to all of these details that are there. Okay, so this is briefly how you are going to add the new members to any of the teams, right? Or add them into the chat history of any of the group that you have created and share the complete chat history, or you can add them to the meetings that are available here in your teams, right? And share the chat history with them as well. Say for example, this is the message that I have typed in. There are a couple of spelling mistakes and I by mistake send it. Now how can I go ahead and after sending, you know, delete it or edit it, right? So if you go to the more options, so for example, you have sent this message, and if you just hover over, you will see that there are 3 ellipses. Click on that and I can go ahead and edit this particular message, right? So I can simply click on edit, and then you will see that I can go ahead and update all of these spelling mistakes that are there, right? So I can change or wherever the spelling mistakes were, I can go ahead and change it or fix it, and then click on this little tick box here. Okay, and then simply click on tick box and the message will be basically updated, and you will see that edited will be available here, that this message was initially sent and somebody, or basically whosoever sent it, has edited this particular message. Okay, now if say for example somebody sent you a message and you you want to reply to that particular message, right? So how you can go ahead and reply, or say for example the same message I want to reply, I'll simply click on the ellipses here and click on the reply here. So specific, if somebody is asking a specific question and there are a couple of messages one after the other and you want to reply to a particular message, simply hover over that particular message and click on reply, and then you will see that that particular message will be appearing and you will be replying on top of it, right? So I can say sure, okay, and then hit enter, and the reply will go back with that particular message that you are replying for that particular message, right? So these are some of the key tips for the chat. Now the next thing is, if you go to the ellipses again, so we have seen the edit and reply. If you want to delete the message completely, right, so simply hover over and click on delete. If you want to pin this particular message on the top, right, so for example I want to pin this message on the top of the chat, so I can click on the ellipses and click on the pin here, and then you will see that the message whichever has been pinned will be appearing at the top. Okay, so if you want to unpin it, simply in the right hand side click on the ellipses and click on unpin, and it will be unpinned. If you want to view where this particular message is in the chat, click on view in chat, and that will be highlighted here. So pretty much, very common and similar to what most of you would be using WhatsApp anyways, but this is a general common functionality around any of the chat applications, right? But apart from that, Teams provide a lot more than that. So basically, we can go ahead and pin and unpin. Similarly, I can save this message. Okay, so for example, I want to save it. So let me quickly go ahead and save it. So I have clicked on the ellipses and clicked on save this message. Okay, now the message will get saved, and where exactly you can see that this particular message has been saved, you need to go to your profile here, okay, and then click on saved icon here, okay, and then it will open all the saved messages that you have saved. Now this is very important feature, because say for example there is key information within the chat when you are doing chat, and that information you want to save and see or refer it later, because chats keep going on and there is a lot of information that flows around within the chat. So how can I tag the key information or save the key information from the chat as and when I'm chatting, so that I can see everything here? So that is how you are going to save it. So simply click on the ellipsis for the message that you want to save, and then click on save this message, and it will be appearing in your saved message. When you go to the profile and click on save, it will show you all the saved chat messages here. Okay, now let's see what all other options are there. Now we have seen about the save this message. You can mark a message as unread. So for example, you have read it but you want to mark it as unread, so that you can come back later and see that this is something which you need to work on or get reminded of, right? So you can mark the message as unread, or you can share to Outlook, right? So I want to, if there is a key information in the chat history you want to share in the Outlook or in the email, you can click on share to Outlook, and it will open the email prompt, and you can share that conversation over the email. Okay, so all of that conversation will be shared over the email that you want to share over the email. Okay, so let me close this, and then other options are the translate. You can go ahead and try the translate feature, which won't be required too much of the time, but yes, if people are communicating in different languages, you can go ahead and translate. You can go to immersive reader, and if you go to more actions, then you can create a task or work item and then create different apps that are available there, or you can create a new action, right? So if I click on create a new action, then you can basically create a new action which is through the Power Automate that you can utilize, right? But this is a separate topic altogether, but these are the features that are available that you will be mostly using. Apart from more actions, I think more actions you will be using maybe for creating a task for this or creating a work item, but apart from that, the top features are the most important one that you will be using. Now along with this, say for example you want to react, you want to put any of these emojis, you want to just give a thumbs up, simply hover over that particular message and click on thumbs up. Okay, and you'll see thumbs up will be appearing here. You want to get more emojis or more reactions, click on this more option here, and this particular list will show you the complete list of reactions that are available. You can basically search for the reactions as well. If I say for example I want to search for
the dollar. Okay, you'll see the dollar appears here, and I can simply, if I'm talking something about the dollar value or something, then I can simply click on the dollar and you will see that it has appeared here. Okay, so these are some of the key important things around the chat that you can use, which are really helpful when you are doing a chat within Microsoft Teams. There is an app available within Microsoft Teams, which is known as Updates app. Let's see what all you can do with the Updates app. So if you want to see a quick look what all apps are there basically, so if you go to the ellipses here, okay, or you go to these apps here. So if I click on the apps, it will open the app section, right? And here I can search for the apps that are available in the Microsoft Teams marketplace. So I can say updates, and you will see that the update app should be available, right? So updates app, okay. And this is from Microsoft, so we can simply click on it and it is already added, right? So if it is not added, you can simply go ahead and click on add here, and then it will get added, okay, in the Teams area, and you will be able to see the app. Okay, so if I go here in the ellipses, you will see that I'll be able to see the recent, which is the new update app that is there in the recents. So if I click on this update app, what exactly it is all about, let's quickly have a look. Okay, so here if you see, we have different sort of templates that will allow you to basically get an update from the team. Okay, so this is what updates app will help you to do. You can get the updates from, for example, the weekly update, for the shift handoff, store opening, right? So all of these, if we go to view more, you will see that we have different templates available. You can start from a blank template and design your own update template to get the updates from your team members. Okay, there are already available default templates, for example, for daily work status, for sharing the weekly work status, project progress, etc. You have these out of the box templates in the app itself, and we can go ahead and use these templates, right? So say for example, you are looking for your team to basically submit the daily updates of the work that is being done. So you can pick this particular template, daily update, and you will see different options here, right? So different, for example, what are your key updates? What is the summary of the work completed? What are your plans for tomorrow? Do you need any support? This is a radio button, yes and no. And then if yes, what are the additional detail? You provide the additional detail here. And what is something you are focused on learning tomorrow, right? So for example, you don't need this particular section, so you can go ahead and remove it, right? And then additional comment, if you don't need, you can go ahead and remove it. But before that, what we'll do is you have to pick this template. So we'll click on the pick template, and then you can go ahead and design the template, add, remove based on the template that you have put. So now here, this is daily update, and you can say, for example, you can edit the title. So you can say daily update, and you can say this is daily update for testing, right? Daily update testing team. And then in the description, you can share, or you can put the description there. So for example, I will put the same thing, daily update for testing team. You can customize it as and when or however you want to. Now if we need to simply go next, and you will come to the form design. Now this is the form space wherein you can add or remove the sections that you don't want. For example, I do not want to have this section of what if something you are focused. So you can simply click on it, and you will see this delete field icon, which you can delete or click on, and the section will get deleted, right? So this particular section will get deleted. If you want to move a particular section up and down, select that, and you'll see these arrows to move the field up or down in the form. If you want to copy the field, simply click on this copy field icon, and a copy of this particular section will be created, and you can edit that later. So I want to delete it. I'll simply click on delete, and then you will see that only comments option is remaining, and then all other form elements are there. Okay, now other settings on this form design in the updates is what sort of answer you are looking for. So it's a long answer, or just the short answer answer. So basically you can enable, disable that. And then whether it's a required field, right? So if you want to change it to the required field, then you select that and you will be basically able to change it to the required. For example, if I choose, do you need any support, right? You will see the required is turned on for this particular field. Okay. If you don't want that this is not a or optional field, you simply disable the required toggle for this particular field. I'll keep it as is. And then if you see the ellipses here, you can see you can shuffle the options. You can have a drop down or subtitle accordingly. Now say for example, I want to add a new field as well to this form. So you can simply click on this add new button, and then you have the option to add the choice, add the text box, or add the date, right? So if I want to add a new field here, so I can say, okay, add a choice and then specify the question. So I can say, how is release? So is release work progress on track? Something like that, right? So just, and then here in the option, I can say yes and no as the option, right? And then simply we go ahead and then move next, and that will get saved, right? And this by default, you will see that it is a required field. Okay. So the person who is submitting the response will have to go ahead and submit the response for this particular question. So once you are fine with this particular form design and the fields within the form, then simply click on next, and you will come to the workflow settings, right? Now in the workflow settings, you have to specify who will be the submitters for this particular update, right? So from whom in your team you are asking this update for. So I'll choose the team members who are, and then basically assign this update to them. So these people are required to be submitters, and you can choose any number of people here who are part of your team. And then who is the viewer? So I'll be a viewer here. So I'll be adding myself as a viewer, so I can view what all updates have been submitted from my team members. Okay. And then file attachment is required. If you enable this, then the file attachment will definitely be required in that particular case. I'll keep it turned off so that it's not mandatory to attach the file. Only if you are specifically looking for a particular file to be attached, enable this option. And then in the advanced settings, you will see that it is turned on, and here you can set up the update frequency. So repeat every week. Okay. And then select due date is where in the week what all days, because this is a daily update. So from Monday to Friday, all the days are checked here. And the due time is basically at 5 o'clock, 17 hours every Monday to Friday, right? And then you will see will remind submitters 2 hours before due time. Okay. So once you have configured all the necessary settings in the updates, you can simply go ahead and publish this. So now you will see that the template is getting published. And here you can see that in the updates app itself, we can see that daily update testing team has been added here, and it is enabled. And then who are the submitters and viewers for this particular update? There were previous update that I created, weekly update, daily update. You can see those as well, and who exactly is the submitter and viewer for those. If you click on these three ellipses here, you can edit a particular update, okay, or disable it as well. Say for example, now I do not want anyone to basically go ahead in the team. The release has happened, and I don't want anyone to submit the updates for that particular release. I can go ahead and click on disable to disable that particular update which I do not need anymore. Okay. So now this daily update for testing team has been posted. Now these people who are the submitters would be notified that they have to go ahead and update or submit their daily update for this particular daily update that has been pushed by you as a lead or manager. Okay. So I'll go ahead quickly and see the update in the one of the user accounts, right? So I'm logged in on my phone from the other user account. So I can quickly see that yes, there is a update notification that has been popped up, which is required daily update testing team needs to be submitted by one of the users. Okay. So here I'll quickly enter the responses and submit it so you can see, or I can show you basically how the responses will look like. Okay. So I have submitted the update, and you will see that Nishant S sent you an update. A pop-up appeared as soon as the update has been submitted. And if you go to the activity here, you will see that Nishant S sent you an update to view, right? So if I simply click on this, it should load the response that have been submitted. Okay. So you'll see that update response from Nishant and then sample response. These are this is the text that I have put from my mobile app on which I'm logged in as the person whom the update has been assigned. Okay, so I'm logged in as Nishant in this particular case, and I have submitted the update from Nishant's ID from my mobile app. And then as the person who has sent this update, so I'm the lead who has assigned these or asked these updates for to the submitters. So I can go ahead and see these updates that have been submitted. If I close this, you will see that I can see that these are the scheduled ones. So this is the daily update, and this is the one that I just created. So daily update testing team one has been submitted because I logged in as Nishant or one of the user and submitted that from my phone. So you'll see that that report appears here, and one is unsubmitted because this update is required from 2 members of the team, right? So this will be shown here in the review section as well, and you can click on see all to see all the scheduled update. And then in the general, you don't have any general updates, and then in the received, you will see all the received updates that are there based on, you know, what type of updates it is and when those are submitted on a daily basis, right? So this is basically very good feature within Microsoft Teams to see what all work that is being done. You want to have a daily status report or daily updates, weekly updates, lot of other templates available as well, and even you can create your own template from scratch using the blank template and add the fields as and when required on those templates. Okay, so here you can see that in the submit, you will see I'm getting more templates here, which is basically the similar. If you go to view more, you will see the similar template that are available here, and you can start from blank to create a absolutely new blank template for any specific needs, right? So now once the update would have been created, notification will anyways go right to the user whom you have asked the update for. Okay, now say for example you want to ask for update that are part of this, say for example this chat team, right, development team, everyone that is part of this team. So if there are guests basically, so guests won't be added in the update, but anyone who is within your company and that's part of the chat will be able to get the update. How you can do that? So go to the chat, right, the group chat that you want to ask, and then in the right hand side you will see that you have these 3 ellipses, and pick the updates app from there. So now say for example I'm looking for project progress, okay, and then I'll pick all of the whatever template this project progress specifies and click on pick this template, and then we'll simply go ahead and click next. All right, so here if I want to remove any of the field, I can, you know, because this is a form design, same workflow that we got, so you can delete or you can move fields up and down from here itself. So I can click, you know, I won't change anything else here. I'll simply click next, and then I'll simply publish, right? So as soon as you will publish this particular, okay, it looks like you haven't used updates in this conversation. By adding updates, you also agree. Yep, so that's fine. It's just a privacy policy and terms and conditions. So I'll simply click on continue because there hasn't been update used in this particular conversation before. Okay, so you will see that I am requesting the update. So by default, who were the members in this particular group who are part of my organization have been added as the submitters, and I have been added as the viewer. Okay, so this is more, you know, shortcut I would say, rather than going to the app. All right, so here from and submit the update, and everyone will be basically notified who is part of this particular chat and will be added as a submitter as well. So this is more quicker way. Now when they'll submit, you can go ahead and basically review and see their responses. Okay, now what else or where else can you see the overall update? So first thing is in the updates app itself, you can see all the updates that you have created or asked for from the team. Okay, so if I go to the updates app here within the team itself and go to review, you will see whatever would have been scheduled will be available here. Now apart from this place, can you see these in some other place as well? Right now, because we are using the Teams cloud, so we can go to the Office admin center. Okay, so I'll go to the Microsoft 365, sorry, not the admin center, Microsoft 365 office.com, and log into your account. Okay, so if you log into your account and click on my content, you will see that
all of these updates that I have asked for, right? So project progress have been updated here. Okay, so if I click on the project progress, this one, you will see that this project progress form that we have submitted or we have added in the Teams is available here. Now in the background, the updates is nothing but the forms, Microsoft Forms, right? And any responses that would have been submitted, you can see those here in the responses. So everything that you have posted in the Teams will be available here as well. Okay, so let's see some other updates that we have. So go to home, we refresh this. So I'll open this one. Okay. Oh, okay. So daily update, right? So we have some project progress, but we have the daily update that I submitted, and there was a response as well. So we'll open daily update and let's see the response. Here was the response that was submitted by one of the users, right? And you will see that update from Nishant, and the sample response and everything has been available here, and you can view these responses here, but you can't edit anything here, right? So if for editing is required, you have to go to the Teams app itself to see and edit anything in the response or the questions, right? So here from the Microsoft 365 account as well, you will see everything is basically available for you to review and view the responses as well. Okay, so that's pretty much all about the updates app in Microsoft Teams, and how you are going to use the update app to create a new update, to share it with the team, and then add yourself as the reviewer, or basically the person who is looking for update as a team lead or manager, and then see what all updates are being submitted within Teams and within your Microsoft 365 account. So very nice app and feature, will be really helpful and productive for you as a team manager and as a team lead to get the updates quickly and efficiently from your team. Sharing your screen, any of the specific window or a particular monitor screen is really important. You need to understand when you are doing any sort of presentation, or you are teaching, you are taking any sort of classes, then how you are going to share the screen so that it's more effective and the audience that is there is able to see the proper screen and the size, how you are going to ensure all of that, right? So first thing is, say for example, in this particular chat group, I want to share something, right? Or share a particular screen or a particular app. I need to go ahead and start the video call or the audio call so that everyone in the group, whosoever are the members, are able to join that particular meeting. Or I can go ahead in the Teams itself, and within the team, say for example sprinters, I want to start a meeting, right? So I can straight away go to meet, and if I click on the drop down here, you will see that I can straight away start the meeting immediately, meet now, or I can schedule a meeting. So say for example, I want to meet now with everyone who is part of the sprinters team. So I'll click on meet now, and the meeting will get started. Now meeting option will be absolutely similar. So this option, the pop-up that you see, will be absolutely similar if you start a meeting from the chat in a particular group that you want to start for. So if, say for example, I want to start a video call here, so I'll click on video call in this particular chat group. Okay, let me start the audio call because my video stream is being used here, so it might not work at both places, but let's see if it opens. So I've started the video call. I can straight away accept the call. So there is a other user who is started getting call, who is part of this particular group. They have started getting call, and I have accepted this particular call, right? Let me mute from here. Okay, so now we have joined the call, right? We have joined the call, and now as a presenter, I can share different screen or different monitor that are attached, right? And the content within that particular screen. So to share, you simply click on share content here, right? So there is a icon here, click on share content, and then it will open the different options that you can utilize to share the screen. And you will see that here, as I have started the call with the regression testing group, right? So you will see that the tagline here is regression testing, call with regression testing. Now in the presenter mode, I can add the background. Okay, so I can go ahead and say, yeah, I'll add a background so my background doesn't appear. So as of now, you won't be able to see myself unless and until I disable the camera that I'm talking in, but camera is kind of turned on here, right? So you'll see that, you know, here the camera is being on, but because the stream is used elsewhere, you are not able to see that. So now let me go ahead and share the screen. So you'll see that here I'm getting screen options, right? So I have two screens attached. Okay, so primary and secondary screen, and now I can share the complete screen, the monitor, whatever monitors I have attached on my desktop, on my system. And then there are different options for sharing as well. So you can share specific windows as well. So below there, you will see that you have the option for the window. If you click on that, all the active windows that are open on your desktop or laptop will be available here. So you can see we have a PowerPoint, we have a Chrome open, we have another Edge open, we have this Excel file open, and a Word file open. So if you want to specifically share a particular app so that only that app gets shared, then you can choose that particular app and start sharing. So I can say click on this particular PowerPoint, and now this PowerPoint is getting shared with the participants that are there in that particular meeting. Okay, now how you can ensure that the participants at the other end are able to see the content properly, it is not too big or too small for them. So when you are sharing your app, you might have to zoom in and out a little bit. So basically if I zoom in a little bit, it will be absolutely easy for the user. So maybe your monitor is big and of high resolution, and the screen size of the laptop is small. So in that particular case, you have to zoom in your PowerPoint slide, and that will ensure that the other side, whoever is viewing the PowerPoint slide, will be able to view the content properly, right? The other thing is, say for example, now you are sharing only the PowerPoint slide. Okay, so sometimes if you are just sharing a particular app, then it not show everything that you are doing on your computer, right? So the other participants won't be able to see any of the ribbon below, right? So any of the options or these apps that you see here, it won't be visible to them. Only the highlighted red area is basically visible to them. Okay, so how you can ensure that they are able to see the everything that is there on the desktop is basically you can go ahead and stop sharing. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop sharing. Click on stop sharing icon here, and then again click on share, and now I can go ahead and share the complete screen. Okay, so here are the screen. So screen 1, screen 2 that I have, I can choose the screen, the primary screen, and you will see now the red highlighted area has chosen everything that is there on my screen, and including every icon that is available, and that will be basically shared. So the full screen, apart from the second screen that is there, the first screen that I have chosen will be shared with the participant. Now if I minimize this PowerPoint, the current view is the Teams view, and the Teams will be visible. So I can switch back and forth to other apps, and then the members will be able to view the other apps, whatever I'm going to share. Now zoom in and out will definitely help other team members to basically go ahead and see the content. If the content is really small when you are presenting, you can go ahead, zoom in and zoom out. The other setting is that from your computer, from your desktop, you can also change the resolution, right? So you can go ahead and say, for example, just right click on your desktop and go to display settings, and here if you scroll down, like the size is 125 at the moment, right? So I can go to the advanced scaling settings, and I can change this custom scaling size to a higher size, and that way if I change it to 200 and apply, that way the font size, or basically the font size and the text size on your monitor will be increased, and the other side, whosoever is having a smaller screen size and not able to see the content properly on your screen, for them it will be much easier. So these are some of the options that you can basically try out. Mostly zoom in, zoom out will be good enough. You won't have to go ahead and do these many different settings, especially in the sharing. If you share your desktop and change the display options to a little higher level, that will be good enough for the proper sharing experience for your participants
events that are there when you are having meeting or training. And this is kind of one-time setting. Once you are aware that my desktop resolution, if I change it to 200%, that's the best when my audience are able to see the screen share properly, then that is good enough for you to understand that yes, every time you have to go ahead and change it before you go ahead and start the screen share or share the content within the meeting, right? So if I click on the icon here, let me move it, and if I go ahead and stop sharing, okay, so to stop share, simply click on stop sharing icon that appears. Let me maximize and click on share again, and then there are other options to share as well, right? So you can share the whiteboard, so Microsoft Whiteboard as well, so that everyone can work collaboratively, or you can share your PowerPoint live, or you can share the files that are there available or browse from your computer or from the OneDrive, right? So these are the files that are available in the OneDrive, and that can be shared as well. These are the live files, or you can browse from your computer or browse from a OneDrive to share any of the files. Okay, in the presenter mode, you can have the background whenever your camera is turned on, so whenever people see you, then there is a background. Whatever background you choose from this background is available whenever you are presenting, right? So this is briefly about sharing content, and especially the top one is if you want to include the computer sound from your computer to be also available to the members that are in the meeting, then you can enable this include computer sound, and any click, any typing that you will do on your computer, that will be also any computer sound that is there in your computer will be basically available to the participants in the meeting. All right. Big organization, obviously you will be having the Active Directory, thousands of employees, that can be automatically provisioned, right? But if you are someone who is a small business and have just signed up for Microsoft 365 and want to allocate the apps, Microsoft 365 apps to your employees, then you can go to the Microsoft Admin Center, okay, 365 Admin Center. And in the Admin Center, if you just go to the home page, right, so you just need to go to admin.microsoft.com homepage, right? So you'll see the link appears here, and if you just scroll down, you will see the section of the user management, so wherein you can add the user, edit existing user, reset the password for the user, and delete the user for your organization account. So if in the left hand side, you will see the active users as well. So if I click on the active users, you will see that the active users that are there, that are being added, will be available. Now there are different options to basically add the user. You can see that these are the users who are basically unlicensed, right? And then you can also allocate the user with the licensed, with the licenses as well. So they can have the complete access with Microsoft 365 apps that are available in the license. Now these are the external accounts, right? So if, say for example, somebody is external to your organization, okay, and you want to simply invite them, then obviously you can also invite the external users. So how we can basically go ahead and add the users? So let's go to the home again, and then we'll go to the user management, and from user management we'll say add user, okay, or we'll go to the active users and then simply click on add user, and it will prompt the username and password. So we'll simply say I want to add the employee here, and then it will automatically take the display name. If you want to change it, you can change it, and in the username I'll simply use the username. All right, and then the next option is automatically create a password, and then require this user to change their password when they first sign in. Okay, so if they first sign in, then they can go ahead and change the password. Then you can send the password in email upon completion. All right, so here you can specify whom you need to send this password. Simply click on next, right? Select the location, and then here you have to assign the licenses to the employees, and then you have the option to whether to assign the license, or you can create the user without a product license, which is not recommended because then they won't be having any access to the apps from your organization. So we'll simply go ahead and assign the user a product license, and you choose 365 Business Basic, and then this is anyways free, so Microsoft Power Automate, right? Now with this you have to basically pay, right? So if you are assigning a product license, obviously you have to pay for the license that will be utilized by the employee that you are adding here. Okay, so simply click on next, and then you will see manage your subscriptions in billing your products. So you'll see that it will charge approximately 8.2 per month. Okay, and this will be kind of another license. So I'll simply say okay, go ahead, yes, and this license will be added and allocated for this particular user or the employee that I have added in my organization. So it is basically going ahead and buying. So it will use the existing payment details and then allocate a product license to the new user that I have already added, right? So you'll see that these are the, if you go to the apps, these are all the apps that the employee will get access to. Okay, and then you will see here we have got that we have bought a new license for the user, and then we can go ahead and simply click on next. Then you will get the option of the role, right? So I don't want to provide any admin access to this particular employee, so I'll simply choose no admin access. But if you want to provide admin center access and then provide different roles accordingly, then you can select these checkboxes here. Okay, so we'll simply choose no admin center access, and then we simply go ahead and click on next. So now you will see that the username and password will be generated next, and we can go ahead and send the details, username and password detail, to the employee, and they can go ahead and sign up. So we'll simply go ahead and finish adding, and Microsoft 365 Admin Center will add this particular user, configure everything, and then the user has been added successfully, right? So it is an active user. If you scroll down here, you'll see all the other details. So if you want to add new user again, so you can click on add another user, or if you have finished adding, then click on close. Let me copy the username and password so I can send it to the user and they can sign in into the Teams account. So let me close this, and if you go to the active users, you'll see that this particular user has been added and having the licenses here, right? And then the other user that I have added in my organization is unlicensed. Okay, so now if I go back to Teams here, right, and if we go back here, so previously you would have seen that when I was trying to search for, say for example, a user, right, so the people within the organization were not available. So now because I have added these people in the organization, so I can see that particular user is available. Now the other user Nishant should be available as well, right? So you'll see that the other user is also available. Okay, and if we search again, let me search and search people, right? So you'll see Nishant S is the new one that I have just added. If I click on Nishant S, now with this particular user, I can go ahead and have the video call, audio call, schedule meeting, and because these are the members of my organization, I can go ahead and do day-to-day activities, collaborate and work together with the employees that have been added in my Microsoft 365 account, right? So in the Teams, the users won't automatically appear. Either you have to add them as an external user, or if you want them to be part of the organization and work collaboratively, then you have to make sure that you assign the licenses to the users that are there added in your organization and basically go ahead and collaborate with them. Okay, so that's all for this particular tutorial on how to add users in Microsoft 365 so that they are available in Microsoft Teams and you can collaborate and work together with your team members within Microsoft Teams. Breakout room functionality is very important and very useful to use when you are having a group meeting and you want to do sort of brainstorming with the smaller groups and then come back with those ideas into the wider audience or the bigger group. If you're doing training, you are a teacher, then also you might want to break out the students into smaller groups so that they can come up with certain ideas and then you can come back and listen to those groups. So basically we'll understand all of that, how you can break out the group into smaller groups within Teams and then also join those groups and see what people are having conversation within, right? So for example, we have the teams, right? So there will be certain teams, or you will create a team for a certain meeting or training, and then you want to have the meeting with the wider audience. So basically, say for example, I want to start a meeting in the general group here, or say for example development squad. Okay, so now in the development squad, I'll go ahead and start a quick meeting, which is just meeting now, or you can schedule a meeting for future. So whenever you will start a meeting, so let's say for example I want to start a meeting now, and then I will simply go ahead and start join now, or click, because I'm the organizer, so I'll join the meeting, and then I can request other people to join the meeting as well, right? So now, because this is just a instant meeting that I have started, so I can go ahead and manually add the participants to this particular meeting which has started. So I'll click on add meeting, and then I can invite the other people to, or request them to join, right? So basically I'll go ahead and click on request to join, and the call will go to that particular user to join that meeting, right? So I'll simply ask the person to join, and then let me mute it, and then I'll request other person as well to join the meeting. Okay, let me request this person as well. So I'll drop. Okay, so you can see that we have 3 people here in the meeting, right? So I'm the organizer, and I have 2 more guests here, or 2 more participants here in the meeting. Now, how can I break them into rooms? So at the top, you'll see this breakout room icon, and it will be appearing in any meeting, whether you have scheduled it for future or you have started instant meeting with Meet Now, you'll be able to get this rooms icon. So if I click on the room icon, you will see different options that are available. To create the breakout room, I can choose the number of rooms I want to create. So here I can say I want to create 3 rooms, 4 rooms, etc., depending on how many participants are there, right? So at the moment only 2 participants, so it doesn't make sense to make more rooms. And then how you want to assign the participants within the room. So teams provide you to assign the participants automatically, or you can manually choose the participants in which room you want to assign which particular participant, right? So as of now, I'll change it to automatic, and then click on create room to create 2 separate rooms, and these participants will be moved to separate rooms. Now, because this is a demo, it doesn't make too much sense to create 2 rooms for 2 people. But then if you have more people, you want to create room of 2 people each or 3 people each, and you have more participants here joining the meeting, you can automatically do that, and automatically the breakout rooms will be created. So if I click on create rooms, you will see that it will give you a prompt that we are creating your rooms, and the rooms will be created, and one of each participant will be allocated that particular room, right? So you'll see that all participants have been assigned, and then I can simply click on open rooms, right? So you'll see that at the moment they are closed, but then you have to go ahead and open the room so that the assigned participants are allocated that particular room. So you'll see the participant has moved from from this main area here to the room, and you'll see that it is still opening. So this second participant will be moved to other room as well. Okay, so you'll see that these rooms are now open. Okay, and each of these, so for example, if I go to this room 2 here, I click on here, you will see the person has been allocated, or Nishant S has been allocated here. If I click on these more options here, I can ask them to join, right? So at the moment you will see, if I click here, you will see that the person RCV tutorials is in the meeting, but then this person has been moved to the room but hasn't joined, right? Or is not in the meeting. So I can simply click on ellipsis here, and I can click ask to join, and they'll start receiving the call from the room, and let me accept it, and they will be in the meeting. You'll see that now this Nishant S is also in the meeting, right? Now, if you want to basically, see what all other options are available here, if you click on the ellipsis here, you can rename the room, right? So I can rename this room to, rather than just generic room, to something else, right? So I'll say unit testing, okay, discussions and then the room 1 will be renamed to unit testing discussions. Okay. Similarly, I can go ahead and change other options. So I can close the room or I can join the room. So as an organizer, I am into the main room at the moment, right? So I can simply go ahead and join the room. For example, I want to see what discussions are going on into the unit testing room. Then I can simply click on the ellipses in the right hand side and click on join room. Okay. And then within this room, I'll be moved from the main room or main meeting to that particular room. Okay, so now you'll see that I have been moved to the room here wherein RCV tutorials is there as a guest, and I am the organizer and I am also participant of that unit testing discussions here. So if I expand this, right, so you'll see in the main area here I am on hold, right, because I am the organizer. So I am on hold because I have been moved to the other room, right, so to this particular room here. So if I go to the people section here, you will see in this meeting there are two people, the organizer and the person that has been moved to this particular room. Okay, if I want to leave this particular room, I simply have to click on the leave on the room, right? So I'll simply go ahead and click on leave, or I go to the main area here and simply click on resume to come to this meeting in the development squad back, right? So you'll see I am back in the meeting in the development squad. And if I have to go to this particular room, I simply click on ellipses and click on join room. And then I'll be moved to the room number 2. And here you will see that I have been moved to the room number 2 at the top, and there are two people here in the room number 2. Okay. And I can leave the room by simply clicking on the leave button here. Okay. Now I've left and I'll be back here. I have left the room, basically the room 2, and I can resume this meeting back. Okay. Now this is all about the rooms. Now if you click on this plus icon here, if you want to add more rooms manually, you can click on plus add room here, plus icon, and it will open add room option, and a room will be added automatically. And this is at the moment closed. You can basically open the room as and when you have the participant. Then here you can make the announcement, right? So I can make the announcement. So I can say time to come back to main room. Okay, and then I can send this, and everyone in these rooms will be basically notified about that particular announcement, right? So if I go to this, for example, I join this room and go to the chat section of that particular room, then everyone in that room or all the rooms that are there would have been notified about the announcement that I have made, right? So if I go to the chat section here, you will see that it has marked as important and time to come back to the main room has been appearing here. Okay, so this is how the announcements can be made to all the audiences that have been broken out into different rooms from the organizer. Okay, so let me leave this room now and resume the main room or the main meeting. Then the other option here is basically you have certain settings which are kind of disabled, and then you can also assign the participants, right? So for example, if you have more participants here that you want to assign manually, right? So you can choose the participants and then automatically choose different rooms. So for example, I want to assign this particular participant to a separate room, right? So I want to assign this participant to room 3, which I created separately. I can choose that and select the room which I want to assign this particular participant to and click on assign. So that participant will be moved from one particular room to other room. Okay, so this is basically how you are going to reassign the participant or assign the remaining participant manually to other rooms as well. Okay, so you'll see that the participant has been moved out from the room 2, so there are no participants now, and the participant has been moved to other room here. Now because this room was closed, right, so we have to first go ahead and open the room and then request the member who has been assigned here to join the room. Now by default, if you have more members in the team, rooms will already be open, they won't be closed, right? So you can basically directly assign and they'll be moved to different rooms automatically without asking them to rejoin those rooms. Now in the closed rooms, you won't be able to join the people unless you open the room, right? So if you see something closed, simply click on the ellipses, open the room first, and then ask the people who are assigned in that room to join so that they can join. If the rooms have been automatically created and people are already assigned, obviously the rooms will be open by default. Okay.